Welcome to the Junkyard Love Podcast.
At what age do we learn how to have better conversations? At what age do we learn to have better conversations with ourselves?
What is bracking, my bros? Welcome to the Junkyard Love Podcast. This is Jacob Bryans, just letting you know that this episode was recorded kind of about a month ago before it's being posted. I had plans for a lot of these upcoming episodes to edit them while I was traveling and in hotel rooms and these sort of things, so I had just recorded a ton right before I was about to leave, and then the coronavirus hit, so I'm just backlogged and I haven't fully caught up. So I am just trying to make sure I post that they were not very recent. So this was a little over a month old, but it's brand new to your ears. So enjoy this episode with Ryan Reed. Before we get going, I'm going to give a recommendation. The recommendation today is not in the form of a book or a TED Talk, because Ryan and I give a ton of book recommendations later on in this podcast. So stay tuned for that. But also, let's just recommend The Good Place on Netflix. That's just a TV show on Netflix. It's about philosophy, moral philosophy. It's quite wonderful. It'll stretch your mind a little bit. Check it out on Netflix, The Good Place. Let's get going. Me and Ryan Reed from HAFLife ENT. Let's go. Checky, microphone check. All right. Ryan Reed, you beautiful man, daimyo. Welcome to the Junkyard Love Podcast.
Yes.
How are you today, my friend?
Specifically today? Man.
How was your morning and everything?
Today's a little stressed.
Yeah?
We had a great weekend. We on Friday, we performed at an all-ages show in Gresham, which was cool. It was all right. We're trying to expand more into the all-ages thing just because, we need to expand our demographic. And, to be honest, that's a lot of the younger folk. They determine what's next and what's cool, right? And we can't forget about that. So we've been trying to endeavor into all ages, but the hard part too is that if the all ages kids are just there to like turn up and listen to music that they know, like, hey, can we just have The Box by Roddy Ricch on repeat the whole night? They'd be okay with that. Don't get me wrong, it's a bop, but
yeah.
So then you're like, yeah, but check out what we're doing, and they're like, yeah, but like, can you bring The Box back? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So
they want to show off the dance move they practiced in private, bro.
Right, exactly. So been diving into that, which we can get into a little more after I answer the first question. And then Saturday we had a comedy show. Max had his first like stand-up comedy show that wasn't part of like a HAFLife event. Mm-hmm. And that went amazing. He killed that. Super proud of him and the way that he's been pursuing that ambition of his. And so we had that on Saturday. That went really dope. Sunday, we filmed a new music video for Roulette Delgado for the song called The One, which is available on all streaming platforms. The One by Roulette Delgado. It's really good. It's R&B, and he's got some R&B chops, and that song's incredible. It dropped on Valentine's Day because The One,
of course,
it's a love song.
Of course.
So we filmed that, and then so then it was just like this busy weekend, and then I woke up today and like a bunch of messages and stuff hit me, and it was like, oh my God, I have so much unfinished business. I have so much, just like
the work still comes.
Right. So I kind of woke up from this like amazing haze, because when you start to do like multiple shows in a row and stuff, mentally you're like, oh, this is the life. And then you have to like wake back up to reality.
Right.
And remember all the business side of things that have not been done.
Yeah, Monday still comes, bro.
Monday still comes, man. And so there's just so much stuff to do. And so that's where I woke up. I woke up very busy-minded today. Okay. But maybe that'll help with the conversation.
Yeah,
I'll try not to be too erratic.
Hey, bro, I'll rub off on you. If you are, we'll both be erratic. I mean, if people are listening to this podcast, they know things go erratically once in a while. I mean, you're following my brain here, so.
Exactly. So we can just combine our crazy mazes, and we'll just be two mice in the maze. We'll find our cheese together, bro.
Yo, speaking of mice, I have an interesting fact about mice to teach you. To tell you about what are they called? Telomeres? Telomeres. It's everybody has them. They're like I'm going to totally butcher this fact now. Essentially, here's the fact. I was listening to Brett Weinstein and Eric Weinstein. They're brothers, and they study like just everything, biology and economics and mathematics and just everything. They're awesome professors. Essentially, with mice, they've learned that a lot of the mice that we've been testing on for like America, just like cosmetics, food, supplements, like everything, are from pretty much this one factory of mice or this one place in the United States. And which is like cool, that's great. You know, we have things that they have it probably down there, they're probably the best of the best, but
Right.
what happens is after like 8 months or something, they kill the mice, or after 8 months, like essentially they've made these are like a superhuman sort of mice or super mice that don't live, because we only test products on mice that are under 8 months old or something.
Okay.
And so essentially these mice over the years, because they're just built as like cosmetic testing mice or whatever it is, they have like grown into like a different type of mice that die after 8 months or they whatever.
Right.
So they have their telomeres, I'm saying that incorrectly, which is what we test. Like this is like our similarities between them and mice and humans. So what I'm rounding out is we have been testing on mice thinking that they're representing humans in the the longevity of a human lifetime, but we're actually like testing it on mice that would be representing like ages 1 to 30.
Right.
Yeah.
So wouldn't you also not want to condition these super mice? Because then wouldn't that almost make everything a little bit biased?
Yes.
Like you're not, you know, because they're going to grow genetically. They're going to start maybe being like less affected by certain things.
Yeah.
So wouldn't we be getting botched results?
That's what's happening.
So this is like the chickens. This is like big chicken.
chickens.
Yeah. Like they don't even
wait.
most of the time they don't even have to use hormones anymore because selective breeding has made it to where they live about 6 weeks too.
That's so fast though, if you think about it, like in like terms of like just evolution.
Oh, we
did that so quickly
to
them.
a baby. And it'd be like if your baby was like 800 pounds, like that's so they die at 6 weeks. They're butchered at 6 weeks. So they've been selective breeding so that they're full grown by like 6 weeks. And like they can't even hardly walk because their legs can't even support them. Their legs are broken. They're having heart attacks. Like you'll have a lot of them die due to heart attacks. But big chicken, man, they'll just, you know, they pay you they pay these farms based on how big they are and how many big ones.
Not how well did you treat these chickens up until the process of circle of life here, you know?
Have you seen, okay, you should watch, so remember Super Size Me?
Yeah.
Okay, so Super Size Me 2 came out. Nobody knew about it because he ended up being on the wrong side of the Me Too movement. And like right before Super Size Me 2 was supposed to drop. But regardless of,
we'll blame the Clintons on that.
Right, exactly. Regardless of how you feel about him though, it was very intriguing because basically what he does in Super Size Me 2 is he's like, I'm going to start a fast food restaurant. And then it shows the whole process from getting the chicks all the way to like the marketing schemes and And
okay, like, what was it like? Was it like, did he show just how gross and like, you know, like inhumane it all is?
All of the secrets. And like he calls at one point and this is one little tidbit about it. He's like, so how much free range do they need to be for me to be able to put on my package free range? And it's like, well, as long as they have like access to outdoors if they want. So he literally puts like this like maybe 3 square feet like addition to the end of the end of the barn.
He just hits a fucking wall with a hammer and opens.
Right. So there's like this 3 square foot area where if they want to, they can see sunlight, free range. He exposes everything.
Well, dude, that's what we have. If you go to the supermarket, you go to the store, you go anywhere, a gas station, and you like read these things. What we read is where like, oh, low in calories or low fat or low whatever. Like it tells you these things and we think, oh, those are good indicators of I should buy that. That's good for me. That's not going to be, I know that's better than McDonald's. But like, bro, a lot of the times, a lot of these indicators that they put are just bullshit. Like the free range thing.
Psychological, yeah.
Yeah, they're playing with us, man.
Like, you know what my favorite one is?
What's that?
Because there's a lot that are like, there's a lot that you're like, okay, sure. But one of my favorites is farm raised.
Farm raised, okay.
Yeah, they'll literally put that as a tag, like farm raised, and you're like, where else? It doesn't matter how terrible the conditions are; it's still called a farm.
Bro, so we'll fall for that too. We'll be like, well, it's farm raised. Like what? Like Hey, can you pick me up just some like good, like not that none of that shitty chicken. Just give me some like good, like okay, so farm raised.
Yeah, so we think it's like Sweet Home Alabama,
right?
Like, you know,
can we go meet? There's an episode of the show Portlandia, which is just drastically. Have you seen that one? They essentially they go and they get like they're going to get breakfast, and they're like, so the eggs are the chickens that lay the eggs cruelty free? Or whatever, and the waitress is like, let me double check, and she goes back and gets some info about the chickens and comes back and they're like, oh, I don't know, like were they treated well before they arrived? Like, and then it's essentially the whole episode of Portlandia is them like going to this farm and they like farm for like, don't they like live on the farm or something to experience it?
Isn't it because it ends up being like a combine or something? Like
yeah.
So they end up like getting into the family.
Oh yeah. And then they go, like the scene ends, they go back to the restaurant or something, I think, and they're like, oh yeah, I think we'll go with this. Like they're like, we made our decision.
Right, exactly.
Like that's the thing is, dude, we have there's so many trickle downs in the way that like our economics work, the way that our world works. It's so hard to know, like what you want is you want to be able to read the package and trust that like your government, trust that these companies are like, this is good for you or this is bad for you, or like eat this much of this thing, don't eat the whole package or whatever. But like instead we have trick words,
right? Trick words.
And
so you would actually really enjoy, and anybody who is listening to this podcast and also is, fascinated. Wait, I should say, if you don't want to live ignorantly blissful about food, don't watch it. But if you are curious about that information, definitely watch Super Size Me 2, because they even talk about like the taglines and everything, so he's like, and I won't spoil the ending, but they talk about the fact that, because there's actually a fun twist, but they actually talk about like, oh, like if we put the word fresh next to wet lettuce really big with like a juicy tomato, right, it's gonna seem like we've made these large advances in making our fast food more healthy. Right. And it's all a bunch of shenanigans. And then, he basically, based on the conditions of his chickens, he calls up, I forget which company deals with, like certified organic and all that good stuff. Right. The US
FDA.
The FDA. And I almost said the US ADA, and I was like, that's not right.
Close enough.
But he calls them up and he's like, okay, so what all categories am I okay to say on my package? Like, so they go through and they're like, all right, so, okay, you could say no hormones. That's fine. You could say antibiotic free. You can't do certified organic because there was trace amounts of chicken in your feed, so you have cannibal chicken.
Oh my God.
But the free range one got me because he literally makes this like little fence and he's like free range. and then he's like farm raised.
Dude, that's how it is. It's, it's a bunch of people. We have laws in place is the thing. Like we have laws in place. A lot of them should be like re-inspected, of course, but they're like, people are like, I'm not breaking the law. My hands are in the air. It's like, dude, you know what you're doing though. You know what's going on.
Right.
Like
and they don't care. And then the other thing, should I be talking this sideways or straight in?
Oh yeah. Oh, it sounds, go straight in.
Okay. That's fuller. I have like a fuller. So the other thing that was interesting was, I got so caught up in the tonality of my voice.
It makes a dramatic difference.
It made a dramatic difference. Really, it was very like high frequency. Yeah. It was very like,
I feel like I should be more on top of that. So, hey, listener, if you just heard the first few minutes of Ryan's voice, he's not as thin and ladylike as he sounds.
Right. Exactly.
This is the real him. This is the boy.
Me now.
I had him talking at different mic types. You talk into like different areas of the mic.
Hello, I'm Ryan Reed.
Hello.
We're on the Junkyard Love podcast. What was I gonna say? Anyway, Super Size Me 2. Yeah.
Dude, I also in that same area, I recommend Shaylee and I just watched a couple days ago. It's called That Sugar Film, and it is along the same lines. Essentially, this dude, he eats super healthy. He's from Australia. He eats really healthy. He cut out sugar long years ago, but he has a baby on the way. And so he's like, I want to know like I gotta like know what should I feed my baby? Like he was all stressed about it, whatever. So he's decided to go on like a typical, like what's a typical person's diet, like not worrying about sugar. Like he doesn't care about sugar. He's not watching out for it. And it turns out to be like, it was like 40 grams of sugar or something that people eat every day. And so he followed his like 2-month progress. Yeah.
Surprised it's not more.
It might have been more. I could be totally off
hidden
of it.
Sugars and everything.
Well, so that's the thing is he did 60 days of, so this is someone for who like eats super healthy, does not intake sugar. And then he went to just eating like every single day, that much sugar, did it for 60 days. And he followed his progress, like gained a ton of weight. He was doing blood tests, like all these things, kind of like supersize me.
Right.
And essentially what he showed is like the trickery too of, he didn't eat like soda and candy and ice cream. Like he had none of that. Like that was an option. He only ate like healthy things. So like he would buy like Slim Fast, like low calorie or low fat. Like he only ate the healthy stuff that they sell us. And he went from Australia. He did it there for the first half, came to America. And then he did it like for the next 30 days, he did it there. He said he had more difficulty eating healthy and keeping under his allotted grams of sugar every day in America than it was even over there.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. And so, dude, essentially what Shaylee and I got out of it was just more a reiteration of just like the fuckery of the lying of like, this is healthy for you. And it's sad to me that we have people with cancer that seems so mysterious. And we have people with all these things and all these illnesses that are just being compounded by people and companies lying to them, like if it's healthy, like, what that fucking means, healthy, like you're hurting this person,
Right. Yeah, but they don't care.
Dude, it sucks.
They don't care. It's money.
Yeah. Right. That's the way the world goes.
To look out for is all the sugar alternatives.
Right.
Sugar
the sucralose, man.
Right.
Bro, they
aspartame,
showed
all that.
They showed a good example of like what that stuff does inside your body when we don't process it. And it's like, ooh.
Right.
It's no bueno.
Okay. So I feel like we're low key like segueing into.
It did work perfectly.
It did. So, because that's something that's made a big change for me too with my health. And we could get into that right now if you want.
I would love to get into it. Ryan, tell me about your health. You had some changes in your health lately.
Yes. So because, that reminds me of the whole carb thing too. People forget that carbs are sugars and like they have to be treated the same. So last January, all right. So for those that are listening, it's probably March now. And if you don't know, I had a huge change in my health in January of 2020. And this is the first time publicly talking about it. I didn't want to make a big deal about it, especially when I was in the hospital. I'm not the guy that's like, no offense to the people that do. I don't like to put everything on social media. Mm-hmm. Like if I didn't have a music and entertainment company where I had to post on social media all the time, I wouldn't. Like just me personally, I just don't like to spend a lot of time like posting and doing the social media game. But unfortunately I have to for my company, right? For HAFLife Entertainment. So I didn't say anything on social media. I didn't want a bunch of people to know. In fact, my parents didn't even know until I had it already handled. But January of 2020, I started to get really weak and really sick. I started to feel dehydrated constantly at all times, and I started drinking water because I was always thirsty, and I tried to overcompensate for that. Okay. But I was drinking all this water, but I was also peeing like 30 times a day. Like nothing was retaining. I'm taking in unlimited liquids and I'm peeing them right back out.
This is going on for how long was it till you like went to?
It was like 2 weeks, but it wasn't just that. It was the fact that I lost, for those that know me, I don't have a lot of body fat, right? I've always had trouble gaining weight and even gaining muscle, and I never knew why. I lost 12 pounds within 2 weeks. And at the time I was only like, $140-ish. So like I dipped down, I started to monitor my weight every morning because I was like, this isn't right. Like I stopped drinking because I was doing a cleanse anyway. Like, ooh, new year, new me, But like I usually do that like every few months. Carissa and I will take like a couple weeks here or like a month here. Like we'll just do little alcohol cleanses anyway.
Yeah, we do the same thing.
Right. And so it was like you get over that first 5 days when you start of not drinking, and you get past like the crappy part of getting rid of alcohol. And then you start to feel better. Then all of a sudden your energy's back. You're getting up earlier in the morning. You're more hungry, all this stuff. I was less hungry, less energy, losing weight. I start monitoring every day, and every day I'm waking up lighter, and I'm like, this is nuts. I'm trying to work and my muscles are weak. I don't have energy. And like, once I started dipping into like the 120s, I'm like, something is very wrong. Yeah. I haven't been this light since I was cutting weight on purpose and for wrestling in high school. Yeah, and that's what it felt like.
Yeah, that's small.
Right. Like it felt like I was cutting weight, and I looked, small. I was shriveling up like a raisin. Right. And I was being stubborn. And I was like, I don't know. Like I was monitored a couple more days. And then Krista was like, nope, like we're going in.
You're going to keep saying a couple more days if you don't.
Exactly. Because, just being the stubborn dude that I am. So she was like,
the doctor either, bro.
Right. Exactly. You know what I mean? You're like, nah, stomach bug.
We'll get over it.
Right. So, but then I started Googling my symptoms and whatnot. And I was like, I think I know what this is. And so I went into a walk-in, like an urgent care. Because I didn't have insurance at the time. And I walk into an urgent care and I'm like, I need to be tested for diabetes. And they're like, we don't do that here. And I'm like, that's weird. Okay.
Can you point to where they do that?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I need help. And so they're like, yeah, so OHSU has this walk-in clinic that you could go to. And I'm like, all right, cool. So we go to that, and I'm like, hey, I need to be tested for diabetes. They take my blood sugar and my urine, and they're like, you need to go to the emergency room. Uh-oh. Like, my blood sugar wouldn't even read on their device. It just said hi. It was just all red, and it said hi.
Jesus.
So, so I go into the hospital. I get admitted, and they're like, yeah, we know what to do. And obviously, I went through like 3 IV bags and like 3 saline solutions or whatever, and they're like, all right, we're gonna need to monitor you, we're gonna need to get you on insulin, we're gonna take a bunch of blood tests, but you are probably a diabetic. And I'm like, okay. So I ended up staying there for 4 days, but they knew like day one that I was gonna be diabetic. They wanted to prove it with the blood test and whatnot. That would take a couple days, but they pretty much knew. I knew it all. Just like, it's pretty cut and dry when like your symptoms look like that. And so sure enough, I am a type 1 diabetic, not even type 2 that's like based around diet and stuff. My pancreas officially does not work anymore, which actually made a lot of things make sense over the last like 3 to 4 years of why I was slowly losing muscle mass and like not being able to gain weight, gain muscle. I felt sluggish for years. So
it's something you've had, like, or it's been coming on?
So basically what it is that my pancreas slowly stopped producing insulin, but at a slow rate. And then what I learned is that I ended up going into what's called ketoacidosis. So if you don't know how insulin works, your pancreas creates insulin. And what insulin's main job is to take the sugar out of your blood, and then it's the gatekeeper to getting it into your cells. So with no insulin, exactly, yeah. Who was the blind man that rode you across the river Styx? You'd have to, in Greek mythology, you'd have to toss him a couple coins to get you to hell, and that's why, or to the underworld. That's why they'd put 2 coins over your eyes so you can give them to the boatman so he can take you to the underworld. So basically that's insulin. And without that, your blood becomes so just kind of clogged up with sugar. And then your cells think that you're starving. Like your cells are like, we're not getting any sugar here. We're legit starving. Right. So they start to slowly eat your fat. And if you're somebody like me who doesn't have fat, it starts to slowly eat your muscles. After you don't have any muscle left, it starts to eat your organs. Right. And so like, ketoacidosis is basically where your cells are like, all right, we've had it. We're going full in. And then they basically start to have like a buffet on your body. And so it was a process that now makes so much sense that my insulin rate was declining over the years. And then finally it was just done. And that's why I went into ketoacidosis. And he was like, it's a good thing that my girlfriend wasn't going to let me keep being stubborn because he was like, it was only a matter of days before you went into basically like a coma. I would have went into like a ketoacidosis coma.
Yeah, not great.
No, not great. And so honestly,
good thing we have girls to save our life.
I know, right?
Man. We're so fucking helpless sometimes. There's no.
They're like, yo, males are the alpha species or the alpha sex. Nope.
Yeah.
We would all kill each other, kill ourselves.
So fast, dude.
It's just barbaric.
We can't take care of ourselves.
No, we can't. We really can't. Like, she is seriously, she's the greatest thing in my life. She's my rock. I would die without her. She'll always be my best friend, no matter what. But so thanks to her, I didn't go into a coma. But we started getting on insulin immediately in the hospital. We went through a bunch of IV, and I started to feel better immediately.
Okay.
And basically the reason that they had to keep me 4-ish days is because they have to figure out what insulin rate, like levels, like how many units per day, like works best with your body, because everybody needs different levels and they can't just like pump you with all of them right away. Right. So if they start with X amount and if that doesn't work, then they need to bump it up and monitor for a day, bump it up and monitor you for a day until you're at a comfortable level.
Especially since you were pretty skinny going in there too. So your shit's probably changing as you're getting healthier over the course of a couple of days. So.
Exactly. And so we ended up dialing it in. I take a long-acting 24-hour insulin every night, and then I have to take short-term insulin before each big meal, depending on how many carbs I have. And so that's what kind of brought it up, that note that I made earlier about the carbs and the sugars, is that they're interchangeable with diabetes. Like, your body treats carbs and sugars the same. And so like I'm actually counting my carbs to determine how many units of insulin I need to take before that meal, to ensure that I can get whatever sugar that I'm about to intake from my blood to my cells and make sure that my body's feeding. And
so when you take your nightly one, this is like a shot. So
I have the pens. Okay. So basically it's like a twist. Like it has X amount of units in it, and I twist how many units I need, and then I have like 1-use needles.
Oh, perfect.
So I just screw on a 1-use needle, put it into my belly.
Yeah. How has that been? How have you been adjusting to that?
That part's fine. I have to take them everywhere. I got to, take them before meals. I got to make sure that I don't forget at night. Like, it's a pain. Like, living with diabetes is going to change your entire life. Right. It has. But that part's not too bad. The annoying part is the blood sugar. Like, pulling out my thing, putting a reader chip in my blood sugar monitor, poking my finger, that part's annoying. But I did get approved for one of those constant glucose monitors that'll sit above my hip, and then I'll read it off of my phone.
That's great. Wait, does it stab you on your hip too? Or does it?
Like you put like a new needle in every 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then it's on there with like sports tape, basically, like heavy duty medical tape. And then you take your transmitter and hook it up to that. So you'll keep the same transmitter. Right. Just have a different needle every 2 weeks for sanitary reasons.
Well, that'll be great to have.
Yeah, so I'll just read my blood sugar off my phone, especially when I'm out, like doing shows and things like that. I don't want to and then I'll just make sure to have my insulin with me so I can still take insulin.
Yeah, and then also I feel like just making fat beats with like a poked finger would just suck. You know what I mean?
You know what? The technology of these nano needles.
Is it a nano needle?
Nuts.
It doesn't hurt. How's it feel? Does it hurt?
It like you feel like a little poke. And as long as you I do the sides and not the actual flat top so that it doesn't bother with things I'm doing. Let's do the sides, and you just keep rotating fingers.
Oh, there you go.
But now I won't have to do that near as much. So that's that. I'm up to 150 pounds.
Great to hear.
So I've gained 25 pounds from when I was at my lowest, when I went into the hospital.
Cool.
And I feel incredible. This is the healthiest I've felt in years. Awesome. I thought my lack of energy was just I guess this is what being an adult is, just being tired all the time.
Bro, that sentence, I'm over that sentence, bro. I'm sick of people saying it near me. Man, until you're fucking 80 years old and you're like, this is what, I guess I'm getting old now, man. Just accepting the fact that you're feeling crappy when you're 24, that ain't right, man.
Right. There's going to be something wrong, right? And so for me, it took all of that to realize it. But now that I am on regular insulin and my body is working like a normal human being, I feel great. My energy has skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Like, just like so many little, my muscles feel dense again. You know, not that I'm the strongest dude, but like they actually feel strong. My muscles feel like muscles. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So it's really changed my entire life for the better, even though, it can definitely be a pain in the ass.
Yeah. I mean, so it's a whole new, like, just your day to day obviously is different. What's the, how's like the mental shift been? Like, obviously it's like a scary moment. Like, it's like, oh shit, like this is my health. Like, I know a lot of times these sort of things can kind of like wake us up to like, just like, I do want to take care of my body, those sort of things. So I don't know, have you had any like mental shifts at all through it?
Yeah. So for one, just being excited to feel good and not always wondering in the back of my head if there's something, like there was definitely a weight off of my shoulders because like I said, I knew that there was something funky for years.
Right.
And so that's a good weight off of my shoulders. So there's that. And then with this new energy, I just feel more ambitious than I was before. I feel like my work ethic has increased once again. And I always tried to pride myself on having a consistent, strong work ethic. So to see that, like, it's just been really inspiring. You know what I mean? And like, like it's a big deal and a huge change in my life. But I was so positive the entire time. Like it takes a lot to get me down. Like we all have our rough days and everything, but like I really have put a lot of effort into trying to be as positive as I can and like recognizing that the way I want to feel is on me. Like I have the power to, you know, affect my emotions. I am not a creature of circumstance, but rather a creator of circumstance. And I've worked really hard to take my own mentality into my own mind. I'm not saying that just discredits, you know, like mental illness and things like that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying like I have a choice. I don't need to be subject to the energies around me. And so that has just increased tenfold. And I was super positive through the entire thing. I learned everything I needed to learn ASAP. My endocrinologist and my diabetes specialist were like, damn, like you got it down. You're good to go.
You're accepting the fate.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because here's the deal. You know, and I don't want to keep hogging the mic the whole time, but
no, keep hogging it, man. You got plenty of room.
Thank you. But whether like I have diabetes, I'm a fucking diabetic. Whether I want to be in a crappy mood about it or whether I want to take it by the balls and figure out how to live the best life that I can, or anywhere in the middle of that scale, it doesn't change the fact that I have this disease.
Yep.
So why on earth would I let myself be beat up over it day in and day out when I can just make the changes I need to, feel great, and then just attack life even harder?
Ryan, you're able to see things as, and this is something that not a lot of people have, or they don't have until they realize they don't have it. Sometimes that's enough to like kind of wake it up. In life, there's things that happen. And we think that that's exactly my reaction to that thing that happens is exactly what happens. But when life actually is there's a thing that happened and then there's your reaction to it. Two entirely separate things. You've always, like, obviously this is a great example of who you are as a person. Like, you were positive through this. Dude, tell me about where you got this positive mentality from. Like, what your belief in yourself, you're like, wow, this is life. Like, I'm going next. Like, you have this like, just undefeatable attitude. I mean, undefeatable. I think that's the best word I can think of to describe it. Like, there's nothing.
I like that.
Where did this come from? Tell me about the birth of this side of you.
Just losing.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I've always been ambitious. I've always felt like I had a leadership attitude and mentality, and I always knew that I wanted to do something impactful with my life. Like, that much I feel like I've always known. I always felt like there was something in me that I just needed to figure out how to harness and figure out how to use it. But I also didn't know where it was supposed to come from. But I've been competitive my entire life. I used to race motocross when I was in elementary school, punctured my lung doing that, went to Dornbeckers. That's why we did that benefit for Dornbecker. Between wrestling, and back in high school, like your sport is the most, nothing else matters in the world besides that sport, right? And so like my upsets with like state and things like that, like there was a lot of like notions, that I was given that like, hey, you have greatness in you, but you need to figure out how to properly harness it, use it, and where to put it. And so like I was always searching for where that greatness was supposed to be, but then always coming up short and always somehow getting shit on.
Yeah.
And so then with the whole music thing, like I fell in love with music, I mean, granted, I used to take guitar lessons in elementary school, and I thought I was, like Max explained, I thought I was gonna be in a rock band too. It wasn't a Christian one. Like,
bro, I've been in a rock band myself. I know how it goes. I was in the Black Bandana Renegades.
Hey,
I'll have you know.
That's better than Road to Christ.
Or what was that yours?
No, that was Max's. Remember? His Christian band.
I was thinking his was Uncle Sugar.
No, that was his first rap name.
Okay.
His elementary school Christian band was Road to Christ.
Yeah. Okay. So Road to Christ and Uncle Sugar. I just want to make sure that any listeners don't forget these things about Max V. Payne.
Right. Yeah.
Uncle
Never
Sugar,
let him
Road
live
to
those
Christ.
down. Yeah. So but then like I kind of fell out of music throughout middle school until high school. I started to get back into it out of just a joke, and I had no idea what I was going to do outside of school. Honestly, I was gonna join the Marines. Like everything in life made me feel like if you put your mind to it, you can be a badass. And I was like, I'll just go be a badass. I'll just go like.
If all else fails, I'll just still be the badass.
I'll just go kill people.
Yeah,
I'll just become a trained killer, and then it'll be smooth sailing from there. Still think about that option every now and then. Too late now. Especially, I don't think they'll let me in now that I'm diabetic.
Yeah, now you just admitted to it on a podcast. It's like, we listen to this podcast. It seems you lied about having diabetes.
Right.
I'm not letting you in.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So that's something about that from time to time. But I fell into music accidentally. And then, my path through music has redefined me as a human. It's allowed me to not only find my passions artistically and figure out that I am an artistic human, but also has helped redefine like my leadership qualities and what I feel like I can do with business. Because then I started to discover that I actually have a knack for, being an entrepreneur and leading an independent, company.
Right.
And my dad is one of the best businessmen that I know, one of the best men that I know in general. Like my dad is such just started from the bottom, built himself up from like being from a poor broken home to working from the machine shop to he stayed in the same industry almost his entire life and went from machine shop worker to VP of sales for like multiple states. You know what I mean? And so he's just a self-made human. And so like that was always inspiration to me and pushed me, but also me and him would butt heads a lot because I'm not following the family path. You know what I mean? Like I'm taking my own path to my own success, but it's also in the music industry, and how fucking unrealistic is that?
Right, dude.
So that caused so much like, trouble between us and my family, and like me and my parents really had like a rocky relationship for a lot of years. A lot of that, on my part. And, but now that they've seen the perseverance and the fact that I'm not going to take no for an answer.
Right.
Now they're like, all right, like, I guess you really are going to do this. And so we've been able to rekindle our relationship, which is obviously important.
Yeah, I saw him in the last few shows. Good to see him. Your dad bought me a beer, shook my hand. It was fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, he's such a great dude.
I love when another man buys me a beer. Like that's like, man, thank you. I know it's a beer, but it's
right.
It's such a nice thing.
It's like a respect thing.
Yeah,
it's like, I respect you.
It's a social, like it's a head nod. Like
right.
Cool.
Right.
It's cool.
Agreed. So, as far as like the unbeatable attitude, like I feel like obviously I've gotten a lot of inspiration for that, seeing my father's story and being a part of my father's story, but then also wanting to prove that I can pave my own path in a completely different direction. And still, like, I always feel like to a certain extent, I have something to prove to that man. You know what I mean? About me as my own man.
Right.
And so that's probably been one of the bigger things, is always feeling like I needed to prove myself to him, and still do. But where was that going to fall into? So like, it happened to fall into music and HAFLife and the business and all that, you know what I mean? And all of my artistic endeavors. But because of all that, and like losing myself and having to refine myself, and like going off to college, and my whole like, you know, my whole party phase and my whole drug phase, and like all, you know, like when shit was getting really dark, and then coming back out of that, and then realizing that I have to grow up. And if I'm going to actually do all these things that I say I'm going to, I need to grow up and be a fucking man. And so because I feel like I went through that darkness by myself and transitioned out of some pretty low points in my life, that since I've come from that, like nothing in this earth can fucking stop me. Right. Apparently not even diabetes, because you know what I mean?
But you were ready for diabetes. Like diabetes just came at you as you're running, and you're just like, see you later, and you just put your hand up, and you just said, all right, cool, that's the thing.
I am
and like,
so glad that it happened now, and not when I was like 20.
Really? You think you would have just ignored it at 20, or just blown right past it?
Been a piece of shit about it.
Yeah. Or a victim, maybe. You know, that's an easy place to be when we have, especially with health scares, you know, it's dude, when things come up, and it's like, hey, you've got to drastically change everything about you. Like all of a sudden, I mean, the last thing you want to do is drastically change everything about you.
Right.
Like, dude, nobody wants to drastically change everything about themselves. But sometimes health says you fucking got to.
Exactly.
And a lot of times you can sit on the ground and wallow for quite a while. You know, and we all have our own ways of doing it. I've had my own ways of doing it in certain areas. And it's easy to be the victim. But dude, I think you're a good example of training yourself, man. It's like you haven't always been this way. It's like you have this unstoppable attitude, but there's also areas where you're like, oh, if this would have happened not too long ago, I wouldn't have been strong enough. So having this constant like believing in yourself every day in some sort of ways leads yourself to, when you have something like a real health thing come at you, you're ready for it, you're strong for it. You didn't even have to like wallow for 10 weeks and then like say, oh, okay, now I'm going to deal with it.
Right.
You know, you're able to face it head on. When you were like back in the day when you were going through like high school sports and stuff, like how did those defeats like shape you to be, because you were saying that like you took it kind of harder back then, like you took it more seriously. You lose in a wrestling match, it's tough, but now it's like it doesn't seem like failure is anything to you. Like there is a progression from who you were then to now.
Right. Well, also, I mean, a lot of that comes with maturity. A lot of that comes with having a bigger scope of understanding too. That's like I said, when you're in high school and you take sports very seriously, and there's things like state tournaments, there's nothing else that matters in the world. Like you don't realize how big the world is when you're in high school. The world revolves around high school. It revolves around and you know this just as much as I do. Like that's life. That's life. You know what I mean? And then it's not until you bust out into the world. Like I look at it like everybody's like, oh, what happened to like me telling all my friends when we were graduating that we're all gonna still like kick it? And you know what I mean? And it's because not that they weren't your friends, but at the same time, you guys had to be at the same place at the same time. I look at it like a straw. Right. If you picture high school like a straw, everybody's going through the same straw. We all have to be there. So you hang out with those people because you're there, and like that's all that matters. The drama in high school, the sports, the relationships, the loves, that's all you know, and that's life. And then when you graduate, you hit the end of the straw, and all of a sudden it's fucking free for all.
Yep.
And everybody flies off into the wind like those dandelions in the summertime. You know what I mean? And
the wishy flowers.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of, so one, I had to broaden my scope of the world. And that's why when I took off to Seattle for like a year and a half, it got real dark and real bad for a while. But that's because I went from Kelso to Seattle.
Right.
I went from, what are we doing this weekend? We're going to, find some beers and pull up in my pickup truck, drink some beers, and then call it good. And that's wild. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then you go to college in Seattle, and it's like, hey, everybody's doing drugs. You're like, why not? So
they're free.
Yeah, you're just exposed to, you're just exposed to a lot, and
it's enticing.
It is enticing, but it also, you got to be really, really careful not to lose yourself or be able to put yourself back. So like, so that'd be answer A to that question, is just like broadening my scope of understanding and broadening the scope of reality and what matters and what doesn't matter as much. Right. But those defeats I took very hard because that was all I know. You know what I mean? Like I was a returning state placer. I was supposed to place again, except higher. And I ended up getting pins in the match that would determine whether or not you placed or not, like at state. And it was like, I put my whole, and also cutting weight. I am now very against high schoolers cutting weight. Or at least the untrained, uneducated way that it happens.
It's like wearing a garbage bag and running and shit like that.
Like I would love to like publicly speak on this at some point, like speak on the dangers of like weight cutting and why we should be at least teaching them how to cut weight properly. Cause we're all spending so much time being like, fuck everything except my weight, and losing a bunch of weight in an unhealthy, rapid manner so that I could go, attempt to be strong after making myself weak.
Right.
And then the fluctuations between after you weigh in, gaining a bunch of weight back and like all this crazy stuff.
In high school, that's fucking brutal.
Your body is supposed to be growing the most then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like I spent all this time just putting my whole life into it, cutting weight, wrestling on the off season, all of this shit for 1 week, which is state, the week of state. That's what all of those months and years go into.
Yeah.
So that was like a devastating loss for me.
Jeez,
you know what I mean? And so like that took me years to get over that. And then I realized the broader scope and that, hey, I need to be focused on succeeding at life and not succeeding in high school. Right.
Right.
And then the whole music thing happens, and like people have hated the idea of me making it in music and making music in general. And like, I'll admit, like, yeah, a lot of my early stuff sucked. A lot of my stuff sucked for a long time. Right. I was a cornball, and I fully accept that. That's fine. But like, I got so used to everybody, especially in my hometown, just hating me and just like despising what I do and talking shit and this and that and like all this petty stuff. And then I go to Seattle, and all of a sudden it's like everybody's an artist and it's this dope vibe and nobody hates on you anymore. I don't know if it's just because like I think part of it is it's so hard to see somebody that you knew as a different human be a different human.
It's very difficult.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially maybe they feel like they have not become a different human. Mm-hmm. So to see you become a different human, it like fucking irksome.
Dude, to even allow room for someone else to change, it takes a shift within the other people who are watching. It takes a shift within the onlookers. And some people are not even willing to give themselves a little bit of room to allow you to change.
Right.
Like, and so they're like, I'm just going to hold on to my opinion of you. But especially as you get, past the ages of 21, 22 years old, you definitely have to, and again, for people in like a smaller town area like ours, you got to leave room as an observer for change. Like you got to be like, oh, I did think this way about this person before, but like clearly they're changing. Clearly I was incorrect about what I thought of them, or
yeah, or that mentality never changes, and then you just have to be strong enough to know when you got to cut people out of your life.
Absolutely.
Like I started succeeding the most when I told myself, you know what? Nobody can say anything to you that is going to deter you, discourage you, bring you down, because you will never be anything. And if you want to succeed as bad as you want to succeed, you're going to cut these people out of your life who do not actually believe in you, do not want to see you change, do not want to see you grow, do not want to see you succeed. And so I just stopped giving a flying fuck about what anybody thinks I can or cannot do.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden I make that change, and then shit starts happening.
Right.
And then all of a sudden that synchronicity, that energy started balling up inside of me, and I started to see that manifest success into my life. Yes. And now I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care what you think about me. I don't. And that's not even me being arrogant. That's like, if like I am all for like, if you want to show love, or like if you like, if there's old relationships in my past that want to sit down, have a beer and rekindle, I'm all for it. I'm not an arrogant person. I'm just done being shit on.
Right.
Or at least allowing that to affect my mentality.
Right.
So and then that just snowballs. People don't understand when you start to empower yourself, and like, the whole, like half the reason that I'm doing all this is just to prove to people that empowering yourself is real. That you can empower yourself and you can change. I mean, fuck, that's HAF stands for hope, ambition, fortitude. The whole part of it was to be like, if you want whatever you want to do in life, you can achieve that with basically these 3 key aspects. And you can use hope, ambition, and fortitude to like propel yourself into something greater, a greater version of you.
Love it.
Right?
Love
so that's what I'm out here doing. And so slowly but surely it's starting to actually work. And so like once you start to empower yourself, then you build on that energy, and then that energy snowballs and snowballs. And then you get to that level that you were talking about of like an undefeatable mindset.
Yeah.
Like you just have to start, but that's only going to start within yourself when you make that decision that you're going to cut off that negativity and truly focus on yourself and believe in yourself more than you ever have. And it'll be hard at first, but it'll get easier. And then you'll start attracting more positive people into your life. And those people.
That's the realest shit, bro. We were talking about 2 books before this too. One of them, we were talking about synchronicity, that word, man. Right. I mean, that's some real shit. That's a lot of times people been like, hey, how's it going with the podcast? How's the whatever? I'm like, bro, honestly, I'm following my intuition and the synchronicities are lining up. Right. I'm doing what I feel is right. And I'm ignoring, like you're talking about, it's almost like you put your blinders on, and what I'm focused on is me. And it might sound selfish, but I'm focused on like what I'm supposed to be doing. Right. If you don't like what I'm doing, like, okay, like you don't even cross my mind. Like you're just right past you. You can't affect me. And I think that when you start going on that road, once you have your blinders on, you get to where you're going 70 miles per hour towards your goals. And like you might fucking switch lanes once in a while, but it seems like the synchronicities just start. It's like you tune into who you really are and who you truly believe yourself to be. And then all of a sudden, like people and things and opportunities start popping up. Mm-hmm. Like it's almost fucking magic, man. They start coming up. It's a simple thing, but you can kind of think of like, say your daughter, you got a daughter and she's turning 16 soon, and you're looking for cars for her, and all she wants is a red Honda Civic. And then all of a sudden, like you don't see red Honda Civics, but then all of a sudden red Honda Civics are fucking everywhere, because you're looking out for them. You're like, is this a reliable car for my daughter? Is this actually a car that I want to get her? Like, oh, that one's actually not too bad. I like those rims. Like, what would she like? Your mind starts warping around. I know I want to get my daughter a car, and she likes red Honda Civics. So all of a sudden you see red Honda Civics everywhere. This is the synchronicity. I want you to, don't be afraid to we live in a world where we're afraid to say things, me anyway, like, I'm like, oh, I don't want to get too tinfoil hat or too woo woo or too, talking about intuition and mystical sort of things that they're hard to conceptualize into words, but I totally believe in them. And I think that exploring them and expanding them as creators is fucking awesome. So tell me, Ryan Reed, about synchronicity, manifestation. Talk to me about this shit, bro.
So, first and foremost, I am not religious. Okay. I am, I work very hard to be very open-minded. I don't care what you believe in, like that. I'm not going to judge you based on what you believe in, obviously, unless it's, unless you're just a piece of shit and believe in piece of shit philosophies. But that's just me personally. I personally am not religious. I personally don't believe that there is a God. And I hope people don't judge me for that. But if they do, whatever.
It's your opinion, man.
Exactly.
You can have it.
I'm not going to judge you back, so why are you going to judge me? But anyway, point being, is that so energy is what I believe in. Like I truly believe that each human is a product of a product of their own consciousness, and like the energies that they begin. We're almost like all like magnets. Or you could look at it like the two wolves theory, where the grandpa was like, tells the grandson that there's two wolves in all of us. One of them is greed, lust, anger, agony, all that, and then the other one is peacefulness, selflessness, care, love, all that good stuff. And then the grandson's like, well, which one wins? Because he was like, the two wolves are always at battle. They're always battling each other inside of you, inside of every person. And the grandson's like, well, which one wins? And the grandfather's like, the one you feed, and so like, I'm a big fan of that. Or like, so Jim Morrison of The Doors, who I'm a big fan of, got me into Friedrich Nietzsche. And then so in The Birth of Tragedy, there is the whole Apollonian Dionysian concept, where we all live somewhere on this like balance beam of our Apollonian side and our Dionysian side. And that's not as like polaring as the wolves, but same kind of concept where one is like more so, I guess you could say, matters of like the heart, and then the Apollonian side is more matters of like the brain. So it'd be like intellect kind of versus emotion, right? And we all live on this balance. And so I actually have a song called Apollonian Dionysian that kind of speaks on that topic a little bit, and kind of the struggles in my mind with my own balance. And so like what I believe is that inside of everybody is basically this balance beam of energy, and what you put your weight into is what is going to win. And basically once you realize that that power is yours, like that balance, and that's the hardest part. The hardest part about my whole idea and philosophy on like the human being is realizing, is knowing. Once you know that you're in control of your own balance beam, then you start to naturally become less victim-minded and more ambition-minded. And then you start to notice the way the energies revolve around you, what energies you're attracting and what energies you're giving out. Because like what you said, when you put your blinders on, you start speeding down the freeway. And then you said that like people and opportunities and things pop up. More often than not, those people that start popping up are going to be because they share a similar energy to you.
Right.
So then I'm just like connecting my energies with the right people instead of trying to butt heads, connecting my energies to the wrong people and the wrong energies. And so I'm building this like network of energies with the people that vibe with me on my wavelength. And therefore that is making my energy stronger.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Or darker, depending on what you feed. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my whole philosophy about, because here's the deal. Do I know for a fact that there is no God? No.
Does
nobody
anybody?
does. No, that's the point. Nobody does. What happens when you die? Speculation. Nobody knows except people that are dead. And good luck asking them. Right. So like, I don't base it off of like, this is truth and this is fact. I base it off what can I use, like what applies to me, and what can I use to not only better myself, but better those around me. And for me, it's that energy concepts. You know what I mean? And that's just personifying it. You know, maybe it's energy, maybe it's the Holy Spirit, whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, whatever word doesn't matter. We're talking about the same thing.
Exactly. You know, and ideally, like, here's the other thing too, is it's going to suck if there is a God and he's like, well, you know, because based on certain aspects of the Bible, he would be like, well, and Christians are probably going to crucify me for this, no pun intended. But, you know, there was something about like, oh, you deny me in front of your friends, I'll deny you in front of my Father. And so it's going to be real shitty if I die. And this is years down the past, after years of my, like the philanthropic, I believe I pronounced that right. The philanthropic side of me that I want to, the active philanthropy. I think it'd be your philanthropic ambitions, I think is how you would say that.
I love it.
Somebody's gonna be like, no, that wasn't right. But so I do want to do a lot of philanthropy in my life. You know what I mean? Like with these benefit concerts, each one continues to get bigger. And like, I really do want to help change lives for the better. I want to make a difference. Right. And it's going to be super hypocritical and pretty shitty for me if I do all this philanthropy and like do and help a lot of people in life, and then I get to heaven and he's like, well, even though you were a really good dude and like helped a lot of people, you technically didn't believe in God. So, and then trapdoor opens and I drop down to hell.
Yeah.
That's going to suck. But that's the you know, if that's what it is, then that's the,
I mean, you're the only one who's dealing with that. If that's the reality that people think is real, then you're the only one who has to pay for it, right?
Right.
I mean,
like, you know, so
answer.
Exactly. So I, you know, right, because nobody else is gonna know what's going on.
Yeah.
So you know, that's me. I'm very energy driven. I told you this before, but when I read Synchronicity and when I read The War of Art, not to be confused with The Art of War. When I read those two books, I was actually in work release jail for some other dumb stuff that we don't got to get into. You know, I was an idiot back in the day, like around like between like 19
We've all
to
been
22.
boys, my friend. We've all been boys.
And I got
sometimes.
Right. I got in a lot of trouble, like personally, and like legal trouble when I was like 19 to like 22. You know, and that really helped shape me a lot. So anyway, I read those two books when I was in there. And that was like, you know, when you have nothing else to do, you really fully dive into the book because you don't have distractions around you, obviously. And so like those were key to me starting to build this mentality that I do and this belief system that I do of the energies you attract and the energies that you put effort into.
Right. Dude, do you think, I personally believe that a book, I mean, anything can change your life. Like, dude, someone farting too close next to you can change your life if that's the opportunity you're ready for. But I really believe that a book can change someone's life, like very quickly. Like, you know, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I've seen plenty of episodes of Parks and Rec and The Office and stuff. And as much as they bring me joy, none of them have ever profoundly changed my life and like sparked something in me that I didn't know was even there ready to be sparked.
Right.
I think that a book, not just like a book has magic or anything, but I think that just slowing down this crazy ass world in reading or audiobook or whatever is enough to like kind of bring us out of our fast momentum, our maze that we all have to live in, and really like spark something that's already within us. Do you like you I mean, you're pretty busy with your half stuff, but have you recently within the last year read any good books outside of, we talked about The War of Art and then the synchronicities.
So that's actually funny that you say that, because we just Carissa and I, we just put down 6 books each, and whoever gets through them first, the loser has to buy both of us Apple Watches.
That's so savage. Holy shit.
Right? Because that's like a bunch of money on the line.
You're hacking the human fucking meat pod, man. Like,
right. Because obviously you want an Apple Watch, don't you?
Yeah.
You're going to have to read a bunch of books.
Right.
6 of them. And they're all like, I don't read fiction, not because I don't want to, but because I have so little time to read at all that I want it to be, you know, I want it to be something that I'm going to take with me, right?
Empowering.
Right. And so I'll tell you what I got in the works right now. I'm about a third of the way through the 7 Habits of Highly Successful Humans.
Highly Effective People.
That one. Yeah, Highly Effective People. About like a third of the way into that.
That book actually changed my life when I was younger.
Dude, it's changing my life currently.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So that's amazing. That's a good one. I made it like halfway through the 50 Laws of Power or 48 Laws of Power.
I haven't read those.
And it's good. It's a lot. Like, that's the thing, is like there's all these side stories and everything, and like you kind of got to like filter through the 48 Laws of Power because it's really manipulative too. And like you don't want to be that guy, right? You know what I mean? Like it's almost one of those books where it's like, if I implement all these, like I'm gonna be low key kind of a piece of shit. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna watch my own narcissism.
Yeah, it's gonna like, you know, give you tips on basically how to step on people to get yourself further, and that's not my MO. I don't want to do the crabs in the bucket.
Yeah, maybe it's good to learn about, so you watch out for that sort of thing.
It can make you defensive. It could be a sword or it could be a shield.
Ooh, right.
So I'm gonna finish reading it for the fact of it being a shield. Ooh, so there's that one. I'm reading this book called Who's Afraid of AI, and that's a really quick one. And that one's really dope. It's funny because it was written in like late 2018, and I'm like, shit, this is already outdated because AI moves so fast.
Everything about AI is so different from 2018.
Right. But it's dope because it really looks at like how jobs are going to change, and like how there's a lot of aspects of AI that we don't realize are already in place. Like there's a lot of jobs that are using them, and a lot of areas of the workforce that use it heavily that you don't even think about. First things you think about are cars, iRobot, and Elon Musk. You know what I mean? And there's like a lot more.
I've worked in production mills before, so I it's definitely like fresh in my mind. I'm like, dude, these people they're not gonna have a job. Pretty soon.
So another one you might like. So that one's interesting. Also, if you're interested in AI, Andrew Yang's Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
Money. No pun intended, because he wants to give. I
love learning about AI. I do want to eventually get somebody who's pretty good at AI on here.
That would be dope.
Just I really like explaining to people who don't have any idea what the fuck's going on.
Right.
I want to get somebody who can be like that. Let me give you just some 411 on like how to understand.
Well, are you familiar with Neuralink?
Yeah, bro.
Oh my God.
Yeah, how is this even reality?
Dude, the fact that
wait, give it for somebody who's never heard the term Neuralink before, give them a little lowdown.
All right.
Just a quick tip.
All right. So quickly, there's 2 aspects to Neuralink. There's the short-term goals and there's the long-term goals. Short-term goals, very humanitarian, very amazing, like absolutely. The long-term goals scare the shit out of me. So Elon Musk comes up for this key presentation.
Talk to the front of that.
And Elon Musk goes on like a keynote speech, and he's like, all right, so we have this Neuralink, And basically we are going to take microscopic wires, wire them into your neurons via the back of your ear. And then you'll have a transmitter that will like clip onto that connection to your neurons. And then it will basically be able to read the movements between like your synapses. It'll be able to read that just as quickly as your brain reads it.
Yeah.
And then it'll basically, so the short-term goal is if you're like a paraplegic, as we advance in prosthetics, you would be able to, so basically it makes your mind a Bluetooth device. So you could have like a prosthetic leg and be able to move it in the same way that you tell your muscles to move through your brain, but via like almost like a Bluetooth connection. So he's trying to basically eliminate paralyzation, which is if that was the right way to say that word, which is amazing. It's fantastic,
holy
right?
crap, yeah.
But then there's the other side of it where he's like, but then the long term, I want everybody on a genius super cloud.
Yeah.
So basically like Siri would be in your head. Like, you know, it'd be like, Iron Man, where it's like, oh, what do we
Jarvis.
Jarvis. Yeah, it'd be like that. But it's like, dude, if somebody hacked iCloud, how long is it before they hack the genius super cloud with all of our fucking brains attached to it?
Right.
Or how long is it before the military, actually, not even how long, military is already getting on Elon Musk's ass about how can we weaponize this, right?
Bro, we already probably got a chip in our head that's so small that's like we're just talking about this Elon thing. They're like, yeah, it's the size of your fingernail.
Right.
It's already way smaller.
Right. It's like, who got their flu shot this year? Well, you got a super chip in here.
You got the nanobots. Who got the nanobot shot?
Right. So like the long term goals are pretty scary for Neuralink, and it's really, you know, exciting to read into. But then, you know, at the same time, the other half of the coin is you're like, oh, you know, this was like a year ago. And so you're like, okay, that sounds really interesting, but obviously that's got to be like a couple years out or whatever, right? Like, calm down, Elon. Like, I get it. You're ambitious. And then he's like, oh, so we've already been successful with monkeys.
Yep.
We've already had a monkey control a computer wirelessly through his Neuralink.
Dude.
So you created Planet of the Apes. So that's cool.
Yeah, that's here.
First
now,
you created Terminator. Now you created Planet of the Apes.
It is here.
Right.
Dude.
He wants to start human trials in 2020, and then all of a sudden you wake up like a month and a half ago and it's 2020.
Yeah, it's just now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird that it's like we're still living our lives doing like whatever, and like there's motherfuckers doing that right now. Like in Silicon Valley, wherever they're at, like this happening right now. It's so dope. It's fascinating. It's terrifying, but it's fascinating and fucking awesome.
Right.
It's a wild ass time to be alive. You were on the third book of your 6.
Oh, right. One that doesn't include this, that's not included in the 6. Actually, there's 2 that are not included in the 6.
Mention them all. Books are great.
Okay. A Brief History of Vice.
Ooh, a Vice.
Of Vice.
Okay.
It's really, it's not like a life-changing book, but it's really fun and really interesting. It basically looks at the oldest human history known of like all vice, and that goes from drinking to drugs to shit talking to sex to like music, like how the Stonehenge is there's this huge theory that Stonehenge was this this musical arena, like the world's first rave, because it's the way that it's put together can, if you get enough people drumming at a certain frequency, like in Stonehenge, the way it reflects creates this like trance, this rhythmic trance, and people would just like resonate at this frequency, which is a proven scientific that there's a proven science between like certain frequencies and the way they make your mind kind of react. And so there's
we can dive into frequencies. I make beats and shit too, just like you. Right. You've probably had some fucked up days where you're like, I touched some weird frequencies today when I was making that sub bass.
And I went into a trance. Yeah.
Bro, dude, I've had days where like my legs feel hella weird the rest of the day because I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I was doing, but I was in that frequency too long when I was making that thing, and I feel fucked up.
You are in a
it's definitely real.
So there's that. So you might find that one interesting. But yeah, then the funny thing too is he teaches you like how to do a lot of these early like for instance like the first type of beer that was discovered by man, and like then he'll give you like directions, like step-by-step recipes on how to do it. Ooh. Or like there's like this hallucinogen made from like like some sort of cheese and mushrooms, and he teaches you how to
Sounds like a wild ride.
yeah, so he teaches you, but he's like, but you have to fast for a week before you do it. And he'll do it, and then he'll be like, so here were my results. Like, he was invested. So that one's really interesting. Brief history of
That
Vice.
stuff interesting. I do like stuff like that where people guinea pig themselves and then talk about it. I mean, that's kind of like what I do. So
Yes, exactly. So you'd probably enjoy that one. Have you read Who Moved My Cheese?
I've not read Who Moved My Cheese.
Dude, you could read it in a day. It's really small, and it's all about being willing to change and adapt.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sounds fantastic.
And it uses this whole metaphor. And again, you can read it in a day, but so it's a quick one, but it's this whole metaphor of like, you're a cheese, or you're a mouse in a maze, and somebody moves your cheese. And based on your habits, one of the mice stays and waits for it to come back. The other mouse steps out into the unknown, into the maze, knowing that it's going to have to adapt and to survive and find more cheese. It's just long played out metaphor.
Well, this sounds great because I actually, like Shaylee and I talk about a lot of the times, like trying to conceptualize the way that my mind works is a lot of times, and helping other people is getting them to realize like you're in the maze. Like, I might find interest in that because a lot of times we're trying to solve our maze problems. We're trying to like, is it left or is it right? But the truth is you need to just notice that you're in the maze.
Right.
And that's what's going to tell you if it's left or right, or to remove yourself from the maze.
Anyone who wants like a real quick, just kick in the ass about being more open and accepting to change, Who Moved My Cheese? Real quick.
Love it.
Yeah. So the 3 that I'm currently reading though were 48 Laws of Power, the Who's Afraid of AI, and 7 Habits of Highly Effective Humans. Right. That's the right title. What were the other 3? Oh man, hopefully I can remember. They're all like stacked up on top of each other.
I know. I'm always like, I'm a third of the way this one through. I'm an eighth of the way through that one.
Right.
I'm very,
so
like,
I haven't even. So I haven't even
Yeah.
started 3 of them. I don't even remember what they're called right now. So
Well, maybe we'll get the review on the next Ryan Reed podcast.
Right. Exactly.
So we want to. Okay. So I want to talk about creativity and producing, and I want to talk to producer Ryan Reed for sure,
Okay,
and rapper Ryan Reed, of course, too. But I do just want to on the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, just because it's a cool. So there's a story in that. I'm probably going to butcher it, but I think it might be the opening story about they're on the train, they're on the subway, and there's kids that are like acting out. Do you remember? Have you gotten to this part yet?
Wasn't it a party, or there was like the like birthday party, and the kid didn't want to share the toys? Was it that story?
No, it's a different story. Okay. So I'll tell the story. I might butcher it. So read this book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
I was gonna say how deep in it is, because he brings a bunch of like metaphoric child stories.
I thought it was at the beginning, but I haven't read it in a long time. So essentially, this dude is on a subway or train, and he's like at the end of his workday, and essentially he has like a couple kids and a guy next to him, and the kids are just being loud. They're being like kind of naughty. They're just like not behaving. They're getting progressively louder and like disturbing his peace. And he talks about how he's like, he starts to get a little more frustrated. And he's like, I'm going to say something to this guy. I'm going to tell him, I'm going to be like, hey, I'm going to like tell him he's to watch his kids. Right. And so he gets to the nerve. He talks himself through it in his head. And then he says, all right, I'm going to get the nerve. And he finally goes, hey man, can you watch your kids? They're acting out, you know, they're being naughty, or they're disturbing the peace, whatever he says to him. And the guy kind of snaps out of it, the father, and he looks around and he's like, oh no, I'm very sorry, sir. You know, I guess they're probably just a little out of, you know, they probably really don't know how to act, because we just left the hospital and their mother just died.
Right. Yep.
And it's like, dude, I remember reading that and I was like, holy, my heart dropped, and I was like, it like woke up this thing in me, and I was like, holy shit. We could be so caught up and like, I'm going to say something. I'm going to like, we're thinking about ourselves so fucking much in these situations. Like, you're disturbing my peace. We don't really think about like, this man is just staring off into space. You think he's not being a good dad, but he's actually just going through one of the most traumatic suffering experiences. He's absolutely, and the kids don't just cry and like understand the severity of the things that happen to them. They act out. They'd be kids. They don't know what's going on, you know? So, but anyway, so that, I remember when I read that like profoundly changed me, and I could have been remembering that a little incorrectly. So definitely read that book, reader. But it affected me later in life.
Though, I remember
did it pop into mind?
And that's you pretty much nailed it. Obviously, you know,
I think it's important to see other people, and you know, you can't just walk around like if there's some dude just punching random people in the face, you can't be like, he's probably having his mom just died. You know what I mean? Like,
there's a balance to it.
Yeah, there's a balance. But I think that when you can see people immediately for like the first thing you see is like they've got something. There's a reason that's going on. Right? You know, they've got something. But yeah, so great book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Let's move on to Ryan Reed, the producer.
Yes.
I've been like a DJ. I've been a DJ for many years, and we've worked together DJ wise. I've always kind of pushed away I've not had a lot of self-confidence in like the producing side of the world. I honestly just haven't really done a ton of producing. I'm the guy who is stuck in many years of just like watching every tutorial I could possibly find and not fucking putting a beat pad under my fingers and just doing it.
Right.
The last 2 years, I have done more of that. I've started playing piano more, started like allowing myself to I don't know, just make some shit. Not really for any other reason, but other than myself. Yeah, it's a really cool journey. And I know that over the years, you have definitely gotten more and more great at producing.
Thank you.
And you inspire me, and I just want to talk about producing. Yeah, tell me about producing. How did you, when it first started? So like rapping, of course, but when did you branch into like making your own beats or like exploring your own sounds?
Almost immediately.
Yeah,
they started about the same time.
Okay.
I just didn't.
That explains a lot.
Right. I just didn't. I didn't put out the ones that I produced for myself for a while. You know what I mean? It was always something that here's the deal. If you want the secret, just suck for a bit.
Yeah.
Like you're just going to have to go through that period of not like making a bunch of beats that aren't great.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I didn't even release most of the ones that I made myself. I did some like in high school. I released a couple, but I ended up linking up with a couple people who were just naturally way better than I was at producing, like some local cats. And so I started using their beats, and I didn't really have the balls to like really like make mine the highlight of my work until years later, until like 2014. Max and I, we did a whole collaboration EP called the You Don't Rap EP, and we produced every beat on that, and we made it a goal to like, it's going to be all of our own production. Right. But that was also when we started linking with Matt Jefferson, aka Make Music or Die, aka Crumbum, he's a god. Like we call him Jefe the God, because that dude he's 12 years self-taught engineering, actually more than 12 now. Self-taught engineering, producing. He's toured the US as the lead singer of Mortified Mortician, which think like Marilyn Manson style. He plays guitar, drums, bass, everything. The dude is just a legend, and we started working together.
He's out of Black Diamond, right?
Right. Oh yeah. You know him. Like,
yeah.
I always forget that I know. Yeah.
Well, dude, because we haven't really worked together at that. Like I don't think I've seen you there.
Well, because we don't work there.
Yeah. Well, I know, but I'm just saying that you think that our paths would cross in that way, but they never have. They didn't cross it.
Yeah. I haven't been to Black Diamond in years though. Like I just do it at his house.
Yeah.
You know, and like he's become like a big brother to me in a lot of ways, music and just life. Like that dude's that's my big bro. And I mean, shit, he was one of the only people that I told that I was in the hospital because it was creeping up on studio day. And I'm like, hey, they keep telling me I'm here, so I'm probably not going to get, like, I was supposed to be let out, and then they kept me another day. I was supposed to be let out. So I was like, dude, like, I'm probably not going to get let out till tomorrow, which was the day of my studio. So I was like, dude, I'm just going to come straight from the hospital to the studio so we can still get this song recorded. And we did, and I want to go into that too. But
were your butt cheeks out in the nightgown or what? You just in the studio, just
right. I kept the gown. I'm like, I ain't even changing.
Put the video on.
Right, exactly. But so he ended up buying a mini MIDI keyboard because he had the idea. He wanted a smaller one anyway, but he had no reason to actually go do it.
Right.
I told him I was in the hospital. He went to Guitar Center, bought a mini MIDI keyboard, brought that and headphones to the hospital, and was like, hey, so maybe you could at least produce while you're stuck in here.
Boy.
And I was like, dude, I made like 3 beats that like are all bangers. Like,
hell yeah.
It was amazing, man. It was so cool. And like, you know, I'm in like the 14th story of OHSU, which is up on the hill, up on the mountain. So I just have this whole,
pretty,
like my whole window is just Portland.
Wait, can you see any mountains from there?
Yeah. I mean, towards Mount Hood.
Dude, I love that there's so many great like top story views. Like 14th floor where we live, you can just look around and most of the time you can catch a mountain if there's not too many hills next to it. It's so great.
And so I had like a big window shelf And so I just literally set it up on the shelf up against the window. And so I would just produce and just look in. It was crazy, man. It was nuts. But so that just speaks to the type of dude he is. But working with him for so long, I've been able to progress so much, you know, because like I'll take my beats and then I'll bounce out the track outs individually. And then he uses his engineering skills with all the plugins in the sound, editing plugins that I do not have the money for, right. And just makes everything sound better. So me and him together have just like evolutionized my abilities through like what we're capable of doing.
Right.
And then so now like I just need the raw bare bones and then make sure I write to it and then bounce it out. And then we go to him and I'm like, can you help me? Like, you know, in my head, it sounds like, you know, do to do, but in reality, it's like do to do. So, like, and then like, that's just a stupid example, but, you know, so he just helps me take all of my babies and turn them into grown men.
Make them make sense. Yeah.
Right. And so
bless people like that.
Right. And so that's also helped me learn how to come, you know, prepared with like more in-depth full projects, you know what I mean? Because now I'm getting the hang of it. And so now I produce everything that I make, you know what I mean? Since like 16 or something. Or 2015.
What's your preferred DAW?
So I arrange in Logic, but I use Machine a lot.
Okay.
But I don't like the arrangement in Machine. It's just not my style. I hate how it arranges. So I love arranging in Logic. It's just what I know. I've been on Logic since I was like in high school. Right. And so like I just arrange on that. And then like, I don't know if you're familiar with Output and like Arcade.
I use the Output Arcade all the time.
Bro, man. Oh my, like, and you know what?
It is a secret weapon.
And you know what? Fuck the people that say that that's cheating and that dequalifies.
Bro, that shit makes me cackle. You. That shit makes me. I'm a DJ, so I feel like I'm like, yeah, I've been using loops and samples. Literally, right. I've been getting hella money by using loops and samples. So like, what are you talking about?
And also, like, honestly, like, I'll use, you know, a lot of times I'll still make my own drums piece by piece with my machine. Mm-hmm. I'll still drum it out, and then a lot of times I'll still use my own like keys and stuff. And but the fact that you can match key signatures for all the different like engines in Arcade, like all I need is one that like gets an idea started.
Bro, it frees your ideas. That's my favorite thing about that program, because you can drag in shit and it changes the key for you. Like that's the biggest thing is like when you're like, oh, I got this dope idea, and you start playing drums and your drums are out of key and you're like, why the fuck does that sound not how it should sound in my head?
Right. But or like a vocal sample to a guitar sample, you know, the ability to just make them to lock in that key signature. And in
what we're talking about, listeners, if you don't know what we're talking about everything, every sound has a key. It has a key and a tempo, and you can what a DJ or what a producer or what someone who's mixing things together, they make them all in the same key. They put them together so they actually sound good. So just because I have a cool like doo-doo-doo and then I have a cool bum 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 doesn't mean they're in the same key, doesn't mean they go together, doesn't mean they're at the same tempo.
Right.
So making those things actually make sense together is the art of producing and mixing in these things.
Well, and that's, I would say, one of the biggest, smartest things that I did to elevate my production is learn key signatures.
Right.
Like
that's where I'm at.
Yeah. And like, so the thing is like, I can't sit down on your piano and bust out like a memorized Beethoven song or even a memorized Journey song. Like I don't have any songs memorized that I can impress you with, but I understand key signatures. So I could be like, oh, here's a G minor chord and here's C minor. And so that allows me to produce. Like I'll produce a melody. And then by the time I move on from the piano melody and move on to the drums and the other aspects, and then I write lyrics to it, and then I record it, and then worry about engineering, like mixing it, and then I release it, and I'm worried about promo. I forgot that I can't sit down and play this beautiful piano melody that I wrote one time.
Yep.
Because I didn't memorize it. I didn't take the time to, because there's so much other aspects to do. So like understanding how music works and understanding theory. Like I would say for anybody that wants to produce or even be an artist, take time to understand music theory. Like it's important, and you can do it on YouTube.
I wish that I had started the journey earlier than I did, because I don't have any sort of musical background. It was just, I think fucking every song is cool. I love all songs. I just want to mix them together, and that's like my music background.
The cool thing is that YouTube University, man.
No doubt. There's so much to learn. Who do you watch on YouTube? Like, do you have any like beat makers on YouTube?
Like I usually use YouTube super specifically.
Right. Like how to use this VST.
Yeah.
with
Like
this.
if like I'll come into a question of like, so if I wanted to, like if it's like, okay, I need to automate some pitch on like an intro to like make the vocal sample go, you know, from this octave slowly to this octave every quarter note before it drop. I'll be like, how to automate a pitch, you know, on Logic Pro. It's like very specific shit.
Yeah.
Or I'll be like, a lot of times I'll Google key signatures because I'll forget. I'm like, all right, how many flats are in, you know, B minor or whatever. But as far as the ones that I actually watch, I watch a lot of the Genius ones actually. There's Genius and then there's one other one that are like popular beats because I like to hear how the popular radio ones were made.
Right.
Because then I can like kind of like pick up on like things that sonically make it a successful record. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
It gives you good inspo too.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I just sucked for a long time. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden I made enough to where they started to not suck.
Right.
And then Arcade was able to just like blow my mind with like the sound starters. Like for instance, Tornado, my most popular song right now. It very quickly became a most popular song because it's fun and it's not like deep and dark like a lot of my stuff. But like instantly I found that like for those that have heard Tornado, you know, that first like that sample, that vocal sample, I found that and I'm like instantly I'm like that.
Dude, it sent you like on a projection where you're like, this is the idea. Let's go from there.
And it's just it's the initial like the and then the I just put those together. And then there was the one that was like, I don't want nothing. And I put those together and I was like, give me an 808 and there's the beat.
So do you like loop that? So you start out with your idea, just the creative process. You start with your idea. You're like, okay, that's the one. It gets you going. You have this thought like, okay, I think we can go with this. And then you just like follow the intuition of throwing some drums in the beat pad and just seeing what happens.
You know, it depends on the song. Cause like, for instance, like there was a hook that I made the other day that was like, so baby, did you get what you came for? You played me, now you crying on the same floor. Used to lay you down on, reminiscing on the flex. You played a whole town on. You did it like, and
on the flex, you played the whole town on 10.
Yeah, and then it's like, but no one's left around. But it came crashing down and no one's left around, and that's some truth that you gonna drown on. And it's like, it's pretty dark, it's pretty deep. But I came up with that first. And like, I'm not a singer by any means, but I can hear the cadence in my head. So then I gotta find it on, like, sometimes I start with the, you know, so it was like, baby, did you get what you came for? And so I'm on there like, dee 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 da, ba ba doo doo. And I can like find it because, you know, I'm not a singer, but I can like hear a cadence and I can replicate it, you know, or
you can
like
play with your fingers and get yeses and nos.
Right.
Yes,
exactly.
that's not it.
Like
yeah,
that's
no,
the note. That's the note. Yeah. Or like what we did with that particular song is I like made the beat and then I went to Matt Jefferson and I was like, can you help me? Can you like, while I was trying to record it, I was like, can you like have that play on a piano? Like even if it's not part of the beat, just add the melody on piano so I can sing along to it and know which pitches I'm supposed to go for.
You can almost hook your voice to the melody of the piano, like stay on.
Yeah, because it's my melody. Yeah. I don't know how to like do it good enough without hearing it being played. Because I understand what I am and I understand what I'm not. I understand that I'm an artist, I'm a musician, I produce and I rap. I don't sing. It's just not, you know what I mean? So I had to figure out how to be. It's almost like one of my favorite inspirations, production and artist wise, is Mac Miller. And we could get into Mac Miller a lot, but the biggest thing you have to realize is the change from like Kids to Blue Slide Park to Good AM to My Beautiful Dark Twisted, or that's Kanye, Divine Feminine to Swimming. And like he's, you know, similar to me in the sense that he's a producer, he's a rapper, he has music inside of him, he's an artist, but he's not a singer. But he figured out how to still create emotion and become not a rapper, but an artist. Like if you look at that progression, especially from Good AM to Divine Feminine to Swimming, he became an artist, a musician.
I like to look at when you're not a singer, when you're like, okay, I know I don't have the Beyonce, but my lyrics and my mouth, my voice, those are instruments. Right. I got to learn how to get a little better at using each of those instruments every single day. If you treat them as like it's not like me, like I'm the singer, but like these are things that come out of my head and my mouth and I use them as instruments in the mix. Yeah. I feel like that's how Mac Miller writes. The dude's got so much up and down. Like he's got I mean, I guess he is a specific genre, right? Of his own, but
but those last 2 records really started to just
so
blend
diverse
genre, right? And he realized that he's, that's why I relate with him so much, is because he figured out how to be a great musician without being a good singer. You know what I mean?
Bro, what did you, sorry to derail here. How'd you feel when he passed, man? I genuinely it was this moment where I was like, I didn't realize that, like, yeah, I see him on Twitter, I listen to his music, but like, I feel closer to this dude than I feel to a lot of my friends. I felt genuinely disheartened when he died, and I'm not trying to make it about me by any means, but I think that the internet and social media and like connection for a lot of artists brings us closer. Like, what I'm saying is, I think it feels like a homie died when he passed. Do you remember like what happened when the news came across?
Yeah. So I was like a decent Mac Miller fan. Like, I'm not gonna say. Well, I used to be a decent Mac Miller fan, like pre Divine Feminine.
Yeah.
Right. I was like the casual Mac Miller fan, and so like I'm not gonna say like, oh, I've been ride or die forever.
Yeah, you don't have to feel nothing.
But like after Good AM, like Divine Feminine and Swimming, like Divine Feminine is, if I had to pick one Mac Miller album that meant the most to me, it was that one. And that's because the darkness he traveled through and like the breakups and stuff. And I was going through a long-term up and down relationship with somebody from like high school, right? That continued to be up and down throughout like, 20, I don't know, like 15, 16 maybe. I don't recall exactly.
20 years.
And right, a lot of years of like knowing somebody and like knowing the toxicity versus the love and that, crazy balance that a lot of us have been involved in.
Right.
And like Mac Miller's album Divine Feminine was like me at that time, and like so it was written for me. When you hear those albums and you're like, I feel like they wrote that about me, and that's why it felt like a homie died, because you relate to their like what they're going through, that you feel like you went through that with them, and then you feel in turn that they went through your struggles with you. So it's almost like you guys have like...
It's like a big bro, like who just... He had like the same path as you, and you're like, holy fuck, but you're able to conceptualize this into your words, into your lyrics, and like allow me to process what I didn't even know I was processing. But like your words... your words gave explanation to the things that my body was going through, that I was going through.
Decipher.
Yeah.
So it's
a connection.
So Divine Feminine happens, and I fell in love with it, and fell in love with him and his music. And then Swimming happens, and it was even more.
Ladders.
Right?
What's the use? What's your favorite track off Swimming?
Oh,
or is it Swimming?
Okay. Well, okay. So the intro record, like when he's like, I just need a way out of my head. I'd do anything for a way out of my head. Like that sticks.
I got chills
with me.
When you said that.
Right. That sticks with me so much. But, or there's another one that like meant a lot to me more recently, and that was Conversations Part 1, because he was like, for one, that cadence is
the bass line
so
of that
sick,
is good too,
right? And the way his cadence rides. But when he was like he talks about like sit around the house, you getting faded, like homie, that ain't entertainment, like going, I forget the exact lyrics, but it was basically like it was basically like, I need to get like it really put into perspective all the time I've wasted, and so that one hit me more after he died. So by the way, when he died, after like how close I felt to Swimming and Divine Feminine, like I was devastated. I was, you know what I mean? And I was really the only one on my team that really listened to him. And so like it was a lot for me personally, and because I kind of had my own path with Mac Miller that I didn't really share with other people.
I think a lot of motherfuckers had that,
right?
I feel like for me, I've always loved Mac Miller, but I feel like it was a silent love. Like it was like I was connected to that dude in a lot more ways than I realized.
You were connected.
Yeah.
If you weren't, you were just like casual. It's like it's like do or die with Mac Miller, right? And so at that point I was really strong with him, so it hurt. And then I ended up taking off for my birthday for like a weekend, and we just made music. It was me, Giannis, and Chris. So this was, a couple years ago. And we took off to Prineville for my birthday, and we were at this guest house, this huge guest house. And I turned the whole big dining room table into a studio. I brought all of my shit, and we didn't even go to the lake. We went to the lake like one time. We just made music and drank and chilled, and it was so genuine. Like we just spent all the time. But like in my heart, like that was like right after the passing. And I felt like I was traveling down a very similar path, you know, mentally, and then like with both of our like struggles with not wanting to be sober, you know, and like the lack of desire for sobriety. And so I traveled down the sobriety path with him too, or lack thereof. And so like I just all weekend in that music, or like in that vibe, you know, she ended up saying something. She was like, I asked him to look over you last night. Like it was, you know, and so because I think she visualized the same lifestyle for me. Right. And so she was like, yeah, I asked him after he passed, she was like, I asked him last night to look over you. Incredible. So you don't fall into the same path. Did
you start bawling your eyes out when she said that? Because I think I probably would have, bro. Honestly, man. I would have.
I know I'm about to tear up right now.
Yeah.
You know, that shit's powerful. And so, but yeah, then I'd be listening to conversations afterwards, after his death. And, you know, it'd be like, you just lying around the house, you getting wasted. That ain't entertainment. Like, get up and go and make it, whatever the exact lyrics are. And I was like, God damn it, he's right.
Yeah, he's calling me out.
Right, he's like literally being like, dude, dog, you're wasting away. And this was
but he knows because he's been there. He's felt it, you know, you can relate to it.
Right. So like that whole death, man, was like, but you know, I use it to inspire me at the same time, you know what I mean? And I try to like, I don't know, I guess make music that would hopefully impact people and in a similar way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I'm still gonna do my fun stuff, like Tornado and Escape, the last two songs, but those are the ones that become your most streamed for obvious reasons, but they're not the ones that mean the most.
Right.
And I think that pulls me into the song that I recorded the day that I left the hospital. I had written the song pre-diabetes, but the whole diabetes thing like just made it just even more.
How much did the words change? Because sometimes I feel like songs are written and you're like, I don't know what the fuck's that about, and then you read it 2 months later, you're like, oh, that's what that's about.
None of them changed. They just
shit,
it was
bro.
like I wrote them not knowing that it was going to be more impactful. So basically, I was producing a beat for somebody else. And you know when you're producing with Arcade, you spend a lot of time just going through sounds and shit, right?
It's almost too exciting, to be honest. Sometimes.
Right. And so I found like this sound, and like this song will actually, by the time this airs, this song will be out, and it is called This Is For. So for those that are listening, it's called This Is For. You may have already heard it by now, but just like this song right here.
Pretty.
Right. And I stumbled upon that, and immediately I just knew. I was like, that I need to leave this other session and start a new song right now, because I cannot lose that. I can't forget that.
Yeah.
So I laid down that angelic vocals, and then I was like, okay, just keep the drums simple. So I just drummed out like some simple, just like do, and then like I just used like quarter note hats. I didn't want anything like, so it's just like tick, tick, tick. It just rides, right? And then I just I played simple chords on the piano. I think it's G minor or A minor. I think it's actually A minor. Doesn't matter. But I like did just like some simple chords, and I was like, that's it.
Good.
That's all it needs. And then I ended up writing the whole song that same night that I made it. And the song is called This Is For. And I forget the term. There's an actual term for this style of writing. I don't remember what it's called, but it's when almost everything starts with the same line. So like the song, it's like 3 verses, no hook.
I got a poetic boner right now. Tell me.
Right. So it's like This is for everything that I've invested. This is for working at being respected. This is for chances, taking and fail. Pick myself up and look at what I'm left with. This for the nights I was drinking too much. This for the nights not remembering much. This for the pain of gaining the game and pushing for people to strengthen my name. This for the drama. This for the doubt. This for the skits and the schemes and the clout. This for the doors that I had to break through. And this for the ones that kept shutting me out. And this for the shows with nobody showing up. This for the vision that's threatening closing up. This for the ones that still hoping I quit. They hoping I fail and they hoping I slip. This for the friends that left me in the rear. Thought I lost control of the wheel and can't steer. But it's 2020 and I am still here. This is for going to war with my fears. Thank you.
Dude, yeah.
That's verse 1.
Okay.
I can keep going.
Okay. Hey, I'm ready. I'm all ears. Hit me with the second verse while we're at it. Just hit me with the second one. If you want.
Oh my God, how's the second one start? If I get the first line, I'll be good. I think people are arguing.
And this song will be out by the time this podcast.
March 1st.
Okay, cool.
This is dropping like March 1st.
And it's on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever.
All of it. It'll be on all of it. So, okay. So second verse then. And this is, so now you can see, now you can see what I meant by the writing style. Right. And I forget, I wish I remembered, but so then it's like, this is for all the nights I couldn't sleep. This for the fact I obsess over dreams. This is for nights I thought I lacked talent to make it despite having all of the passion. And this for the studio back at my mom's decade ago where I wrote my first songs. This for the scribbles and scratches and tears. The trash can is full, but I kept pushing on. This for the freestyles with all of the squad. Sip stolen liquor in the bong. Thinking we had it even though we was broke, but so many days now this is all that we know. And this for the summers and all of the women I used to make verses and playing the victim. And this for the ignorance needed to grow. So this is for me getting high all alone. And this for the drugs that I did in the past, thinking that those types of habits could last. This for the benders that brought in the bars, it brought in the fights and it brought in the scars. This for the sanity, not thinking clear and driving when I could not even steer. But it's 2020 and I am still here. This is for going to war with my fears. Verse 2.
Love it.
There's one more. You want it?
Yeah, hit me with it. I need it. Just keep going.
All right. So this for the team supporting the dream. This is for working at changing the scene. This is for HAFLife and all of the fans. They playing our music, they raising their hands. This is for making some scrap off our raps and then turn it around just to give it all back. And this for the moment on Channel 8 News just cause of the benefit concerts we do. This for the fortitude we had to show just to get to throw in the greatest of shows. Just goes to show that grinding will get you to Moda on stage where all the lights glow. So this for the cheers in of every glass. Rolls past the obstacles back on our past. This for the goosebumps. This for the tears. This for adjustments we made every year. This for the trends to tie up loose ends, for not breaking when they all thought we would bend. This for the blood, this for the sweat when adversity thought we ain't coming correct. And this for the armor we strapped on ourselves just to get back to battle, we taking the belt. This for the championship we've been working for. This for the fact that nobody has earned it more. This for my mom, this for my dad, when I told them I was gonna live off a rap, for I knew it'd be much bigger than that. Thank you for showing you now how my back. And this for the patience shown by my sister. This is for every time I missed a picture. This for the times I wasn't around cause I was off fighting the world for my crown. This for my girl, please tell her I need her cause she my best friend and my biggest believer. The reason I'm alive and still working this hard, for showing me light when I'm stuck in the dark, brushing me off, keep my mind clear so I can keep finding the right path to steer. Now it's 2020 and we all are here. This is for me, conquering fears.
Love it.
That I wrote that night, and then like 2 weeks later got diagnosed with diabetes, almost died, left the hospital that day, went and recorded that song and knocked it out of the park. Sounds a lot better than it does right now.
The lyrics didn't change. No, dude, I feel like it's kind of dope a cappella. I feel like you should open up shows with that.
Right.
Just, like, don't even sing it. Just fucking say it to them.
Just speak
and
it.
Like, just keep it going.
Kind of like what I did just now. Yeah. Just like spoken word style.
I love it.
And then that music video is going to drop too. And it's going to be the most important thing that I've ever made.
Who would you be without writing? Who would you, if you weren't able to get these things that are clearly inside of you out to somewhere, whether people are listening to them or not?
Yeah.
Like if I put you in Ryan Reed's hell and I gave you no notebooks, I gave you no voice to get this out, who would you be? You think you'd be half the man you are today without the ability to get this art out of you and express yourself in this way?
Special forces?
Just a murderer? I would kill people.
I think like I know that sounds really dumb.
No, I think that it doesn't. What I'm trying to push at is I think that there's a lot of us who call us creators, call us artists, call us different left brain thinkers, right brain thinkers, whatever the fuck it is. I think that a lot of the times people think that what a creator does is for attention. They think that what a creator does is for themselves. But sometimes it's like, this is this is because I have to. Like, it's this thing that, like, I understand that not everybody has it, but there's a thing inside of me that if I don't have a conversation with it, or let it have a conversation with the rest of the world, it's going to eat me alive. So I think it's something that, like, is a genuine calling that will just fester in us if we don't get out.
You know what I think I'd be? It's kind of dark. I think I'd be a drunk.
Yeah.
Yep. I think without music without art to figure out who I am and be able to, like, get all of this craziness out into something that even if not everybody hears it, I at least was able to give it life, whether that's through the keys or through the drum pads, whether it's through the piano or the vocals. Like, I was able to breathe through art. I think I would probably implode. I think I would self-implode, and I think I would just spiral into a lot of vice.
Ooh, me too, man. Me too.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be a good person.
Have for sure, but
which is sad. I would hope that I'd still be a good person because I feel like I have a decent heart.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
It's hard to contend with, man. It's a lot to deal with. Like, it's a lot to, like, put into words, but it's even harder when you can't put it into words. When it's like when those words that like that you just spoke, that are on your phone, that are on papers, that are in songs already, those words are in you, a lot of times, and sometimes they're just taking up room. It's like, I don't know how to understand this thing, but when getting it out. So I always want to, like, put a hole in it, put a peg in it, because I think that even if you're not trying to be on a stage, even if you're not trying to be a rapper, a musician, a producer, if you are able to get lyrics out, if you can write songs, if you just sing by yourself, if you get any words on paper, even if it's just journaling to yourself, it's so healing. I think that so many humans can benefit from just fucking writing and getting out the words that they don't know are inside of them.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
You don't got to show anybody ever.
Yeah.
But at least you do it for yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, I am with that. I have a quick question.
What's that?
Do you by chance have like juice or anything?
Juice.
Sugar.
Yes, yeah. I definitely do. Let me go grab you.
Okay, I can tell that my blood sugar is low, which is another funny thing, is you start to read your body.
Yeah, that's good that you're able to read your body. Let me go run and grab that real quick. If you want to entertain,
talk about
entertain the people. All right, here's what you need to talk about. You need to talk about your game plan, and keep in mind that your girl was right down the road, so you got to handle that. While I'm upstairs, here's the scenario. Okay. I'm getting you some juice, and you just see a fucking zombie hand punch through that window right there.
You got zombies.
It's always the zombies, bro.
All right.
Be right back.
Ooh, okay, that means I have limited time to look around at my surroundings. I need to figure out what's around me. So we have, the good thing is that we're in a basement that has been turned into a music studio. So there's a lot of metal. There's a lot of heavy things. I have a microphone stand, which, is it one of the round bass ones? It is one of the round bass ones. Oh man. For those of y'all that don't know, the round basses are usually concrete. Of like so obviously so that the mic stand stays upright. So if I flip that upside down, take the top off, I got like a 3 foot, basically like hammer, like war hammer of concrete. So I'm probably going to use that I see the one that breaks its hand through the wall or through the window. I come running at it. I smash that motherfucker and just, beat the shit out of him. Hopefully, and then I obviously check out that window to see how many more we got. Okay, next, Carissa, who brought me here, she's about like, well, luckily she's only like three blocks down, so that's not too terrible. I can make that happen. And so I'm gonna call her after I beat the shit out of that first zombie. And oh, thank you so much. You brought me all the things. What we got here? Okay. All
right, keep me posted. Where we at these zombies as you're pouring this?
All right, so basically what I did was your mic stand, I was telling the people that the round base mic stands usually have concrete bottoms.
Yeah, they're heavy on the
So
bottom.
I'm going to take the top out of that. I'm going to use that as like a war hammer to at least kill the one that's jumping through the window or trying to jump through the window. Then I got to survey the scene. I got to see how many are in your yard.
Yeah.
And then I got to call Carissa and be like, yo,
are you dead yet?
Right. Are you still alive? Do I need to come rescue you? Because if you're already dead, then Bummer. It's every man for himself.
Like I'm not going to waste my time for his head. So like I'm just saying, if you don't answer,
right,
it's a done deal.
So she answers and she's like, yeah, but they're like coming in from and crouching us from all angles. She's still at that coffee shop. I'm like, all right, see if you can like barricade yourself with bookshelves, because that's also a library. Right. There's coffee things there, so there's got to be something that's like metal and heavy. You know, at least try to arm yourself with something, even if it's a lamp. All right, I'll be there. I'll be there in a
probably
sec.
not like a paper book, maybe like a hardcover book.
Yeah, ideally, right. And then, so then I'm like, all right, bro, you have a decision to make. I gotta go get Carissa.
I go with you.
Okay, so
No
you're
doubt.
coming with me? All right, so the good
No
thing...
stutter. I got it.
Perfect. I appreciate you for that. Honorable. Respect. So we have, like, luckily the door is right there. So as long as they haven't gotten into the house and whatnot, we can skedaddle out of here pretty easily.
Right.
Worst case scenario, we could fit through that window. You have weight sets in your garage. So we're going to need to go arm
We got to work out real quick? We're going to get a workout?
No, we need heavy things.
Oh, okay.
So we can arm ourselves with some dumbbells. And then, or even like the bench bar, the bench press bar.
Right.
Just go swinging
45,
that.
man. Dude, just get spinning in a circle in that thing in my backyard. You could take out 25 just as it comes out.
I don't know if you have guns.
No, I'm just kidding. Like I have some like secret gun thing. I'm just fucking Bert from Tremors next door.
You know what? You ask everybody the zombie question, so I'm not going to be surprised if you hit a button. And
Bro,
like
I'm just trying to prepare
your
now.
mixer just like flips upwards, and then it's just like
maybe it is. Maybe I
bunch
got that. I don't know what I would do though. Like dude, it's so crazy to think about. Like you think that you could handle it, but I think when it even came down to like the act of any of us humans actually like trying to hit, like even though it's a zombie and it's trying to kill you, it'd be so hard to make your brain actually like kill, like smash a head of another like person thing.
I think humans, when they're backed up against a wall, their primal instincts come out, and I think that adrenaline would allow you to smash the shit out of a zombie.
Right.
At least that's what I'm hoping, or else I'm dead. If I don't, you know, it's do or die, it's kill or be killed. But then the next question is, so here's the hard part about the zombie thing, right? The zombie thing sucks because I would rather fast forward like 6 months into the zombie apocalypse and live then. Right?
Okay.
Because it's the first, if you survive the initial chaos, your chances skyrocket.
That's super true.
Because
then you're just fighting people almost. Right. You're like, I know how to fight zombies. I'll kill them real quick. But then it's just like other motherfuckers.
Right. And then, so what do you need? You need food. Actually, I'm screwed.
Yeah, you just realized you're
done
screwed.
Now. Oh my God, I never even thought about the insulin thing. So I have to not only raid a grocery store, but I got to make sure that grocery store has a pharmacy, and I need to raid all of their insulin.
Right.
And then I need to figure out how I could survive. Like I'd have to figure out how to make fucking insulin. Like
we'd have to get like a bunker situation, and we'd have to start like a quick little month-long science thing where we just like, we'll just somehow learn how to synthesize whatever you need for your blood sugar.
So I need to start that now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they did it on I Am Legend. Like Will Smith seemed to be able to figure out the whole lab thing. So we should be able to.
But see, the situation he was in, it starts in the good part. It starts in the okay. Like he's already got, I mean, it starts with him already having a habit. He's already got a fucking trained canine companion. Like, you know, he's good.
Yeah. That's true.
I worry about the initial chaos of getting what you need to bunker down when everybody's freaking out. The military is freaking out. People are getting killed not only by zombies, but other humans because desperation kicks in.
Absolutely.
Once you make it past that first wave and you figured out how to have a semi-regular food supply and ideally ammunition and guns, you get a lot better chance.
I feel like there'd be so many, like in a town like this, there's so many motherfuckers with guns who just love shooting their guns. Like anyway, just they hunt, whatever. I feel like what if like we're all concerned about it? It's like, yeah, no, Castle Rock, Washington is completely fine because they've been defending their own town.
They just set up barricades.
We just have a bunch of motherfuckers like on their houses in recliners just shooting zombies with shotguns. I could picture it. I had did you ever have, I think maybe he's retired, Mr. Clausen. He was a history teacher.
Sounds very familiar.
Yeah, so he was just baller ass teacher. I loved him, but I always pictured like if there's a zombie apocalypse, I feel like I'd probably make my way to his house because he would be on the roof just capping zombies. Like he would show us like history movies, and then he would just like stop it. Like he would show like he would show us like the war scene from Pearl Harbor, but then like the other stuff started and he just stopped the movie and be like, it's all fucking lies. Like he would just like, he would be like, not let us deal with the bullshit, just tell us the truth.
So, but then here's the thing is that it depends what type of zombies.
No, that's always
it depends on,
World War Z zombies were toasted.
I never saw that movie. Was that the really fast ones
with Brad Pitt?
Fuck that,
dude. They sprint.
See, that's
and they sacrifice. They work as like a hive too. They work as kind of like ants. Like they'll like sacrifice themselves, like stack each other on each other to get over this wall.
Yeah. See that's scary.
Yeah.
You're done. If it's the like what was that popular show forever? Walking Dead.
Right.
If it's like those zombies, I feel a lot more safe with that.
Yeah, they're slow.
Or like the ones from I Am Legend.
Yeah.
Like superhumans.
They started to get smarter and smarter.
Right. That can think. Yeah. Okay. Then we got some other questions. And also, honestly, I don't even have like enough canned food. You know what I mean? Like,
I have like 4 cans of chicken. I wouldn't last very long. I would definitely have to like get some supplies. That's for sure.
And then you got to be willing, if it came down to it, if it came down between like your camp, like you and your loved ones versus somebody else and their loved ones.
Right.
You got to be willing to do what you have to do to survive.
The humanity is going to lose.
Yeah. No, like the people that, the heartless motherfuckers that already have like the crazy doomsday preppers, they're like, yeah, who's fucking laughing now? You know what I mean?
Dude, they're going to be so confident.
Oh man, they're so stoked too. You know what? They're so stoked because they're like, yeah, I am your god now. Like y'all are clamoring to me. You
denied me for so long.
Right.
I feel like that's kind of how some of our politicians get in some ways. But hey,
that's a whole nother conversation.
Give me let's round about on here. We'll give you another 15, 20, whatever you're comfy with. Let's go with
I mean, I'm down to go until you're like, all right, this is way too long.
Well, it's not too long for me. I definitely do want to make sure I cover some.
I thought you meant like in total. I was like, we can go, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No. I just wanted to make sure we hit a couple things and then let it go from there. Tell me about HAFLife.
Okay.
I feel like, because I want to hear it from like I want to inspire people who are like, here, I'll back up a little bit. I always had this like, fuck it, I'll do it myself thing. Like I wrote, it's like a Russ thing that I grab onto. But even before Russ's mentality that I loved, there's always this like if nobody's gonna put me on, I'll put myself on. Like when I first started throwing shows, when I first started DJing, I didn't know what to do. I just thought music was cool, and I thought electronic music was cool. There was nowhere to play it, and so I just started throwing my own shows, put myself on, build my own thing. I want to like inspire anybody who is maybe has an idea and they're like, I wonder if I could do it, but like nobody in their life tells them that they should do it because it's like, it is hard work and it does start small, but it does grow and it grows into these different things. So I don't know. Keep in mind that I think you're super fucking inspiring, and I think whatever you tell, whatever your truth is going to be inspiring for anybody who's starting their journey. So tell me about HAFLife.
Right. Okay. So HAFLife is something that started as a belief system that always had the similar core, but it has like grown and evolved multiple times. So if you throw it all the way back, it's a joke. HAF was like this joke that started with me and my cross country buddies. And it did not stand for Hope, Ambition, Fortitude. It stood for hard as fuck, and it was super sarcastic.
Right.
Like
this was the time when like the word YOLO was like a very normal, popular thing. Like it was
right. And we almost did it as like a parody of YOLO. It was like, oh, bro, hard as fuck. Like we didn't actually, we don't actually think that we're like hard as fuck.
Right.
Yeah. But so it started as that, right? And then the reason that it stuck around, and what a lot of people probably don't understand is that the reason it stuck around is because that was my initial core support system. Like this was back, and then another thing is that it started as Half Clan, which obviously we changed for obvious reasons because
I feel like the word clan was not like you wouldn't even phase yourself with that word back then though.
We were gamers.
Oh right.
We were gamers.
Yeah, right.
So
it means that more.
That's what you do. You clan up on like either Xbox or PS3. We all played Call of Duty.
Right.
And so Half Clan was our clan, like that on Call of Duty. It had nothing to do with, any sort of.
Doesn't it piss you off that like stupid groups take away an entire word?
Well, here's the deal. If I would have been if I would have like looked at the US as a whole and looked at my like thought about my future more, I would have been like, this is probably not something that we want to enter music, let alone hip hop with. You know what I mean?
Right. I get that.
But my scope wasn't that big.
Right.
You know, like this. So it started as in cross country, and then we all hung out like every weekend and we gamed. You know, and it was like HAFClan was our gamer tag, right? And that's what that. So then when I started like first doing music and I started like first doing shows, guess who? Like we squad my very first show, and I remember because it pissed off all like the older artists and shit. Because I'm like 18 at the time, I'm young as fuck, and like there was like nobody really at the show. It was at Las Rocas, and I showed up like 30 people deep. Just like a bunch of kids, right? And it was a lot of them were the cross country kids, my gamer dudes, and wrestlers. You know what I mean?
Just some bros.
Yeah, and so like we squad up 30 deep, and then they all ended up. We went first. They made me go first because I'm like the new kid. Nobody knows me. So we're all raging for my shit, and then. And then after I'm done performing, they all leave, and then all the other artists are like, it's like, well,
dude, people get weird.
Who did you bring?
Yeah,
you know?
dude, it's.
And I didn't even understand the scene back then, so like it just naturally transitioned into my core fan base. So yeah, it stuck, and then I wanted it to mean something more, and so that's when the acronym came, and this was about the time that I had Max already explained this in his interview, but I asked him to come and hype man, and then we started making music together, and then we just became bros on it. Like, it became an us thing pretty quickly.
Right.
Like even though I started it, he became a part pretty early on and has been obviously, a huge part of it. And that was about when we thought we wanted to take it more seriously. And so I decided to change it to Hope, Ambition, Fortitude because I wanted it to be something. I wanted to stay with HAF because of the roots, and I didn't want to leave those, but I wanted it to mean something because we still wanted to be empowering. So that's how HAFLife came out, or HAFClan at the time. And then, Max took you through the whole thing of bringing on Giannis later on. And then, just recently, we brought on 3 other artists, but the whole thing about HAFLife was self-sufficiency and DIY. Like I knew we were not going to be accepted by the industry. I mean, we were hardly even accepted by our own city, right? Let alone other towns, states, like the whole industry. I knew that we were not going to be accepted by everybody. So that's when that natural DIY energy started to take over, and we started doing everything that we could by ourselves from the jump. Yeah. And so we started throwing more shows. I got, and like the first show I got handed to me, and then that caught fever after that. And I started just like trying to figure out who the promoters were, who was the movers and shakers.
Get your name in there.
Kelso Longview. Right. So like not really much at all, but I still had to work with what I had. And then we just started doing all these shows, and we were working, we were trying, and it was like, y'all corny, y'all don't matter. Like, you're not gonna make it. And I just kept clawing. I just kept pushing. And like, it was, if you had to boil down the DIY part of it, it's absolutely lack of acceptance. You know what I mean? Like that.
You'll do.
Right. And so it's like, like you said, well, if nobody's going to do it for me, I'm going to do it for myself. And that's why nowadays with like, we put our own shows together. I go right to the venue, and I don't even deal with the booker half the time. I'll go right to the venue and be like, who's in charge? Who do I need to talk to? I need to get a date. And then we get it down. And then I talk to the charities about, throwing it in their name and their manner. You know what I mean? Like I put the lineup together, and we handle everything as an in-house unit. Right. And that's because like, it went from getting shit on to finally we started getting accepted. And then people tried to start taking advantage of us. And like, basically trying to like get a little, off of shit that I worked for, that we worked for, that we built, and so that's not going to fucking fly. And so like And also I just got tired of the way the scene does things. Like, it's so selfish. It's so crabs in a bucket.
Right.
Everybody would just be so willing to throw down their fellow man to raise himself up a little bit. When really, like, what, like, oh, we're all battling for the scene. What fucking scene?
Yeah.
What scene?
Right.
It like, and so I just got tired of the egos. I got tired of like, well, Portland's this, Portland's that. What the okay.
Says who?
Yeah, right.
Who's it been?
Right.
What are you talking about?
If you become Macklemore and blow up, who is also a cornball, I respect what he did. I do. I respect what he did, but musically not my favorite. But I respect, that he like came up where nobody really did.
He just did his own thing, man. He
exactly.
had his blinders on.
So like that, I respected. Like the way he moved, I respected. I was like, if you do that in Portland, you could start trying to make some calls about Portland. There's obviously some people, some older heads that have been in the Portland scene forever, and I don't even try. Like, look, that's absolutely.
Yeah. Well, but that's the thing is I think that's the thing that you did though, is it's not about, we think there's gatekeepers and we're like, okay, well, I'm doing this music, so I got to go, who are the hip hop gods who I have to ask permission to play hip hop in their town in?
Yeah.
ain't that,
whose
bro?
dick do I got to suck? And it's like nobody's.
It's like, hey, I want to do something that's its own thing. It's just for us. It's a thing that we do, and I'm going to do it this way. And you could cut out the middleman. I think so many people think that there's a gatekeeper, a magic like, oh, I got to go to this guy who knows this guy, so I don't disrespect this. And I mean, there is a thing about culture and like not stepping on culture, but I also think that shit can be so fucking boxing in and stupid.
So let me get something said. Like, just because I want to do things my own way does not mean that I do not respect the culture,
right?
The culture of music, the culture of hip hop, the culture of Portland, right? Mm-hmm. I'm just not going to try to pretend like I'm an advocate for the culture, because that's not my place.
Excellent.
I can still build my company and be successful and hopefully give to the culture, because I respect, like, I'm trying to get rid of the stigma that is like so selfish, right? So like, I respect the culture, but a lot of these other people who are way more like justified to represent the culture, I just feel like they aren't doing their best representation. Like, and there's some that are, but then there's others that aren't because of the ego and the selfishness and the crabs in a bucket mentality. Right. So me wanting to do things my own way isn't ignoring the culture or thinking that I can represent it better. It's not my place, not my fucking job, but I love to make music. I love to put on shows. I love to give back to the community. I love what I do. And I respect what I do. And that's why I'm not going to take no for an answer. Yeah. Right? Like, people could be like, you don't belong here.
Says who?
Okay. So, yeah, right. Says exactly. Who? Like, I love what I do. I love art. I love music. And I love to be able to give people amazing entertainment. And then when I can, give it back. That's why we did the Dornbecker show, the YWCA show. That's why we did the toy drive. Mm-hmm. Where's more of that? Not trying to be a dick, but like, nobody, who else is doing that? Right. You know what I mean? So that's,
everybody's looking out for number one, man, not right. Community. Community is something I always like to expand on the word community on this podcast. What's your view on community? I mean, obviously you create your own community, that's for sure. And that's prevalent, but there also is like, you trickle into other communities. Like I talk about, like Travis Pastrana, for example, he does a backflip way back when, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, we can do backflips, and then 2 weeks later people are doing backflips. So like, I think you, even in your own community, like with your HAFLife, that's your community, and obviously it's expanding farther and farther, and it has its reach, its arms, its veins. But just by you loving your own community and you guys all like believing in each other within yours, even just like going anywhere near other communities, it inspires them and it pushes them to me. Expand on community for me.
Right. So if you from an outside perspective see and feel that, then I am doing my job. Like, one thing that we talk a lot about, because Roulette Delgado is a very inspiring artist, very inspiring human, and the things that he's done for his Portland scene, especially in the LGBTQIA+, I think I got them all. Basically the scene of like people who are struggling with self-identity, right? And the inspiring things that he's been able to do with people who struggle with their identity, because he's a big, overweight black gay rapper. And he's like, but guess what? Not only can I love who I am, but you can love who you are too.
Hell yeah.
And it's incredible. I mean, I strapped a pride flag around that dude's neck so that he could wear it on Moda Center stage with no shirt on and do a song about getting blackballed by his community when he came out of the closet being a rapper, right? And so like we talk about this all the time because I get inspired by that motherfucker every day for his willingness to be who he is, be honest with himself, and then inspire other people to be honest. So me and him talk about all the time.
That's a strong ass place that he stands, man.
Right. It's incredible. And he has the power to really, and that's one of the reasons that, you know, I really wanted him to be a part of HAFLife is because he's exactly what we're working towards and what we're striving for. And so we talk about it all the time. He's like, dude, I feel like I finally found family. Like he can tell you his own upbringing story. He'd be a great guest to have on.
We'd love to have him on.
Yeah, but he has his own story that, you know, I not my place to talk about, but he's like, I feel like I have a family and I fit in. And so we just want that to resonate and we want that to spread. You know what I mean? And so for you to, like I said, from an outside perspective, feel like you're already starting to see that, then I'm doing my job right. You know what I mean? Like I want you to wake up and feel a little more empowered than you did yesterday. You know what I mean? Like I want you to win the fight. I do. I want everybody to win their fight.
Well, and if you can do that by filling your cup, right? You filling your cup so much that it overflows, right? Not
in the traditional cup runneth over sense, but
not like let's just see how I can fill my cup just for me and keep it to myself. It's like you fill your cup, like you focus on what's good for you. You focus on your community, and you guys bring each other up.
Right.
You guys are fulfilling to each other, and then that overflows. That's
exactly. And here's the thing, man, is that like community, I feel like is something that gets really lost, misunderstood, misconstrued. And, you know, it's really just like giving a fuck about your fellow human, you know what I mean? And wanting to see your other human thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in a weird place, like society wise, politically, you know, no matter how you feel about the current president, you can't, whether you like him or hate him, you can't say that he hasn't increased the divide between, you know, ideas and thoughts and beliefs. And like all of this division is starting to resonate in communities. Right. Because now what if you're in what if you and somebody else have always been in the same community, loved each other, support each other, whatever. And then all of a sudden you find out that one of you is a Trump supporter and one of you is a Bernie Sanders supporter. How many people like that are strong enough to put personal political beliefs aside?
Yeah.
And still want each other to thrive.
Right.
Now that we're starting to see dissolve, like because of your personal beliefs, now you have to go on the offensive and you can't want your other fellow human to thrive as much.
Right.
Right. Which, you know, seems like, that's pretty shitty, but that's what we do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. I guess like we're going into like, we're starting to move into a place where it's either like all inclusive or all exclusive, you know, and we're starting to see that Venn diagram start to separate.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why?
I ain't about that.
No,
I ain't about, I'm about connection. I have from my left shoulder blade to my right shoulder blade, I have the words humanity in negative space tattooed. And, you know, sometimes I literally like wonder what it means to me. Like, cause it seems like the definition changes sometimes. And I think through all this shit, through all the Trump, through all the Bernie, through all the fucking, you're 20 years old, you're 25 years old, through all this, the one common thing we all have is we're none of us know shit and we're all humans. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, fuck, man, we got to be on each other's side. It's not, it's humans against all of our problems. It's not all of us against each other, man. Right. It's, I think community and expanding on what community is and just like letting other people, you know, you believe in them, you know, and
so if you look at it from like a historical standpoint, there has always been war, no matter what, right? But technically, we're a lot more open-minded and aware than we were back then. Like, at least we're going in the direction over time where we're killing each other less because of your specific, for instance, religious beliefs. You know what I mean? Where back then they would just decimate an entire like civilization because one was Catholic, one was Christian. You know what I mean? Or
we've definitely grown.
Right. So then it's like, so as we get into the most aware, I was talking to this, my Lyft driver the other day, and he's like in his 70s, and he's like, I'll tell you one thing, like, you guys, you're the generation, because I've seen like 4 generations. And I was like, yeah, that's crazy for you to say that, because usually they're just like, you're lazy and entitled. He's like, I've seen 4 generations, and there was not one of those generations where the generation before them didn't say you're lazy and entitled. So he's like, don't trip on that too much. They've been saying that.
Normal, right.
He's like, but y'all the first ones to come up with, like, to grow up with unlimited resource and unlimited knowledge because of cell phones, internet, technology.
Bro, that's the real, like, seriously, say that again. We have unlimited knowledge. If you have a question, you don't have to ask your aunt who knows everything about cooking. Like, if you have any question about cooking, the internet has every answer you need.
So the point that he made that was so important was that we are less likely to be stuck to our closed-minded beliefs of our immediate families, friends, and ancestors, which I thought was huge. It's like, we're in the biggest time where, like, you can have whatever type of mind you want. You could stand by whatever you want to stand by. You're not just limited to, like, what my parents believed, or because if you look at things like racism is like very taught. It's very, you know what I mean? Like, well, my parents and my grandparents and my great grandparents, you know what I mean? But
it was
now,
never questioned.
Right. But now you can question anything. So like, it's just crazy to see this divide that's happening between like love and hate, and where that's going to go into the future now that we are all more connected than we've ever been. And I hope that it goes in the direction of open-mindedness. Right. But only time will tell.
But well, I think that as artists and people who, people look up to you and I in certain ways, at least a handful once in a while. Right. So I think by just like seeing that and seeing it from an outside perspective and being like, well, as much as we talk about communities and people doing this and people doing that, like, we are the people and we are the communities. Right. So, listener, if you're ever in any sort of leadership role of any sorts, if somebody's looking up to you, whether it's a little kid, whether it's your neighbor, whether it's, you are the person in your neighborhood who never ever forgets to put your garbage out. Right. Like, what you're doing, man, people are watching. Be inspiring. Right. Be dude, it's the craziest fucking time. And right now, what's happening in the world, especially the internet and all the political crap, is there's little tornadoes. It's like, hey, wherever there's a problem or wherever there's a disagreement, we now have a magnifying glass on the disagreement, and we stir it up and we give it a little tornado, and and all the problems come up. And what we're doing is we're fist fighting all the problems. We're punching at the fucking debris in the air, trying like, no, that's bad. That's evil. This is evil. No, here's what I believe in. But we need to remember that, like, the dust is going to settle. This fucking dust is going to settle in who you are through all this crazy bullshit in America right now. Give yourself some grace and let yourself change and let yourself grow. Let yourself look at your actions and see how let yourself build your own community. How about that?
Right. And understand that the example that you set may or may not be followed by a number of people that you don't even realize. You know, like, if you set even an accidental bad example, thinking, that's not going to resonate. That's the, what's that, like the butterfly effect, and the raindrop. They're like, like you said, you don't know how many people are looking up to you and are inspired by that. And so, like, whatever type of examples you're setting is going to resonate beyond what you think it is, especially with social media and everybody on earth seeing exactly what examples you're setting.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the crazy thing about social media. That's a whole nother fucking...
Bro, I'm always going off about social media. It's such a blessing and a curse. I think the biggest thing that I just love saying on social media really quick is, like, why do you feel the need to be connected all the time? Right. Just saying. Just take a look at that. It's even cell phones, even texting, if you think about it. So something that, like, in the last 2 years that, like, my friends have been super cool about understanding is, like, yeah, I'm going to text Jake and he's probably not going to hit me back till tomorrow. Like I'm not available. Like, in my life, and my mental health is better for it. And I think that a lot of people who are very, very, very addicted to social media, like I was crazy addicted to social media. Just take a look if it's fucking pulling you in a little too much, and know that it's okay to take a break completely. Texting, all this. You can take a break from your phone.
Right. So the unfortunate thing is
when you have a business.
Well, that too, right? Like I have to be.
Dude, I know it's the hardest struggle,
but no, I was gonna say it's gonna get worse because, like, you know, this is, and a lot of people have been saying this. You know, so I don't know if I'm just being a beat drum or beating a drum. We'll go with the dead horse because, I don't know if I'm beating a dead horse here, but like when people go through middle school, they are so impressionable, and that's when they mentally build like validation and what validation means to them and what validation means to society.
Absolutely.
So we're actually the last of the generation that, or like me and you are old enough to where we didn't have to go through social media validation in like middle school.
Right.
Now these people are going through middle school with like Instagram and Facebook.
Oh my gosh,
and
like,
likes.
I feel, dude, it makes me like sad and nervous for like.
Right. So we're not teaching the right validation habits. Right. And it's making, you know, so then all of a sudden, you know, like you're slave to that phone because that phone is your sense of self-worth. Right. And your sense of validation is now that phone. Meaning you are slave to that phone now, because without that, you don't feel validated. Yeah. You don't feel like you're worth
You feel
anything.
uncomfortable. You don't like sitting in a room where you're like, I'm not touching my phone. Like that feeling that you get where you have to grab your phone. That's what that is. You're avoiding feeling that.
Right. And you know what? And that's something that like, so, you know, you said that I inspire you, but like, you really got to understand how much that you inspire me. And a lot of that is because you've really like taken your own mental state into your own hands, and you've, you know, like your process or your journey of disconnecting so that you can refine Jake Rhines or find Jake Rhines for the first time, if that's the case. You know what I mean? That is so strong and powerful because like most people don't have the strength to even think about what they might be like in their own strength, in their own mind state.
Right.
And like I come into here and you have all of this writing on the walls and you have all of these sticky notes, everywhere. You know, everywhere of just your thoughts and ideas, and you're willing to sit with your ideas and not feel like you have to run away to either an escape on your phone or run away to validation from others on your phone for you to start to feel okay. And that process, dude, is like, you're one of the greatest humans that I know. And like, I'm super honored to be your friend for that reason, because that is so strong. Like, which shouldn't be a thing. Yeah. Right. You shouldn't have to think that like, oh, he doesn't use his phone. He doesn't use his phone all the time. Like, what a strong human.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, dude, it's thanks so much for saying that. I really do appreciate that. Because you're very inspiring to me as a friend. But I think that, like, it's something new as humans, man. Like, it's something that like you got to kind of look at where we're at in 2020 and, you know, 2007 when iPhone was invented to 2020, 13 years, man. Look at human beings, take yourself out of the equation and look at us on a timeline in a history book and think about like, what are they going to be typing up about? Like, how are the humans affected by the cell phones? Like, yeah, bro, you got to take a look at that and realize you're one of them. You're one of them right now. Yep, we're still recording. But dude, and one thing I always want to emphasize is like and this is part of me. I'm trying to get good at taking compliments because sometimes I find ways to dissociate and reject it. So that's I'm not. But I want to emphasize that like I'm not a perfect man. I've had many mistakes. I've had many flaws. I'll probably have more flaws, you know, or I'll probably make more mistakes. But I'm able to, what happened with the social media thing is I was able to like look at the mistakes, look at the ways that I was doing, the ways that I was thinking, and realizing like, this isn't going to last for me. This is stupid. Right. This is not in my benefit. And just taking, and honestly, like the typical part of like, you know, they say addiction is like admitting that you have a problem. And it sounds corny and we've heard that a million times, but like, dude, with cell phones and like validation of other people, like I definitely had a problem. Like I had a problem with seeking validation and people looking up to me and making sure I was popular, and also making sure that I kept this like, everybody thinks I'm a nice guy. Like I don't want to cry in front of people because then they're going to think that I'm just lying, and like opening up to see that you are this way and say like, it's not really benefiting me though.
Right.
And then being able to go from there and say, what can I take off? Like, what armor can I start to remove? And like, fuck, dude, for me, it's start moving scales and skin and more, you know, I break.
And you're bleeding, but you're like, it's going to be worth it.
but it's so worth it. I just think like, you know, I want to do good and I want to be a good man. I haven't always been perfect and I'm not going to be perfect, but I want to, and I think just like realizing that we're all like that. Like we're all like I'm a man, I've been a boy, I have boy tendencies. Like you're a man, you've been a boy, you have boy tendencies. Like same thing with females. Like any of us, just know that your life is worth it to just say, you know what, I'm gonna start over. I'm gonna rethink my thoughts. They're not fucking helping me out. Just be willing to like lose the attention for a while, lose the attention from social media, lose the momentum that you had. Like I lost a lot of gigs just DJing, like because I wasn't responding to my Facebook posts. I wasn't responding to my Instagram because I deleted that shit. But it's like, so I lost out on those, but my life grew in so many other ways. I think we got to be willing to sacrifice a lot of what we have to build what we know we can be and have a little faith in ourselves.
But that balance also is so hard because of the fact that businesses have rebranded the way they work to revolve around social media as well. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's the only thing about like having a, you know, being a DJ comes with same with, you know, what I'm doing. Is that it's almost a necessary part when businesses are going out of business because they refuse to adapt to social media. Yeah,
that's everywhere. That's dude. Like look at like when I go to eat somewhere. Like if I go look and see if their hours are open or what their menu is, and like if their online doesn't like match up or they don't have like a menu, I'm gonna be like, all right, well next.
Right.
Like
exactly.
This is how the world works.
It's
now,
exactly.
So, but there is a huge balance, like not letting it suck you in. Like me saying like, well, I have a DJ business, so I have to stay online. Is not an excuse for me to check my phone every 6 minutes. You know
exactly.
what I mean?
Like go through an email, motherfucker. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
Bro. I think that anybody who wants to cut down their social media use, I know that's not exactly what we're talking about, but just in that specific subject, just give yourself like set the timers or just say like, I don't do notifications and I don't check it randomly. Like I check it every day at 8 p.m. or I check it every day at 5 p.m. Right. I let myself have a half hour and then I do not check that motherfucker until 5 p.m. the next day. Whatever it is, set some limits for yourself, I think. And then also just I guess just inspiring people to be the best versions of themselves. I think just realizing that wherever you're at, you're not your thoughts. You know, like we have those wolves. Sometimes all our thoughts are the bad wolf, man. Like they're just cravings and desires and bullshit. You know, and realizing that like. Having faith that you can start to fill your brain with in your body and your life with those good thoughts, even when they're not there. I think that just, I want to give any listener, like I'm proof of that. Like I had no good thoughts. Like I hated myself. I wanted to die. That's what I thought about. But I sat down here and I looked at the wall with a pen in my hand and I was like, fuck, dude, what do I think? What's going on? Like, why do I think like this? What's happening here? I started writing it, dude. And I started just, I don't know, man. I want to make sure everybody knows, like, if you're in the fucking darkest pits, here's a good one, Ryan. Think back to one of your most dark moments growing up, as an artist, as a man, as a teenager, as a mid-20s. Think if you could reach back in time, there's a fucking portal that opens up in time to when you were 20 or 16 or whatever. Right. And it grabs you by the shirt collar and it's you from the future. And it says, listen here, motherfucker, here's what you need to hear. What would you tell him?
Ooh, man.
What does he need to hear? What does he need to hear at any point in your life?
Probably stop trying so hard to be something you're not. Which I know that's also kind of cliche, but like really, like if I could get back all the years of me trying so hard to be this persona that I wasn't to be, and because I'm still suffering from that. I know that there's a lot of people that have a negative view of who I am because of the way that I used to act. And a lot of years that I spent pretending I was somebody that I wasn't. And like, I'll have people now even like, people that I knew from like way back, and they're like, oh man, like, yeah, you used to be such a douchebag. And I'm like, that's fair. But I guess I haven't done enough job. And this is probably because I don't, spend too much time on social media, like being personal. There's still a lot of people that think I'm still that person. And I feel like I've put
a small town thing for sure.
Right. And I feel like I've put a lot of effort into just becoming a good human, and I don't say that like, oh, I'm such a good dude. You know what I mean? I mean, like, I've really tried to be a good human,
right,
and like care and be there for people that are in my life that need it. And like, I've just really tried to just be, I don't even know how to put it besides just a good human. And I feel like a lot of decisions and ways that I acted in the past now even overshadow that still to this day. So if I didn't spend so much time just like, because at the time I didn't know who I was, and so instead of taking the time to figure out who I was and come into myself, I just like built this persona, this like egocentric asshole persona, because I was, and part of that stems from the fact that I was so just upset with nobody like really believing in me and like everybody clowning on me, that I was finally like, then fuck y'all, you know what I mean?
Right.
Then if y'all can't believe in me, then like, it's me versus the world, and like, fuck everybody else and this and that. And then like, that just made me just a dark human, and a human that I'm not proud of. And so that sucks that still, a lot of people still have that image of me.
Yeah. I think that like a lot of times people have opinions of each other, or holding on to opinions of each other, like that they don't even realize. Like they'll be like a lot of people wouldn't realize, like, so if somebody saw you and they hadn't seen you for 5 years, like they're going to see you and instantly bring back to like, oh, like I know Ryan, he's 19 and he's a cocky motherfucker.
Right.
But like what doesn't happen, but podcasts and conversations like this allow to happen, is we put a wedge in and we say, hey, I know as that person, just letting you know. If you give me a chance, I'm going to show you that I'm not that person anymore.
Right. And that's the thing, too.
Just open up,
Yeah. Like, so if that scenario happened where I walked, I saw somebody that I haven't seen in X amount of years, a lot of times you end up not having even like a 15-minute conversation. You'd be like, wow, I feel like he's grown up a lot.
Yeah. I love walking away from that. Like when you see somebody, you're like, fuck, dude, that dude's doing good.
Right.
Love that.
But then you don't even have that conversation. So instead of having that 15-minute, like completely like paradigm shifting conversation, you don't have that conversation, and then they just continue thinking you're that same dude from 5 minutes or from 5 years ago, when we could have like a 15-minute conversation and like re-meet each other for who we are now.
Right.
Like, and same vice versa. I might have preconceived ideas about that person.
Right.
And so we could just, hash it out 15 minutes. And we could,
bro, I think giving each other room to grow. Like it's always such a good reminder for me of just like, I don't know shit. You don't know shit. You didn't ask to be born. Do you remember being asked to be born, Ryan Reed?
Right.
I didn't. I don't remember being like, dude, I'm here and I'm going through my shit, and I'm sorry that I'm not perfect, but like, I'm going to try to get better. And like, dude, there's nobody walking around saying they have everything figured out. There's nobody walking around outside saying, I am perfect. We look at each other and we're like, oh, they think they're so perfect. Like, did they say that to you? Did they fucking say that they like, I think just remembering like we're all on our growth period, and we're all like every conversation, every re-meeting, every new day is a new day. You know what I mean? Like you can restart, and you can give someone else the benefit of the doubt. You can give them room to change. And sometimes that's a lot of, I really believe in just believing in your homies and believing in even strangers. And I think sometimes just believing in someone and letting them have room to grow and breathe, I think is enough to like allow them to be like, all right, well, I'm going to take it in my own hands and actually do what they think I'm doing.
If more people had that mentality,
we can spread it.
We would thrive. So that's one of the reasons that this podcast is so dope, is that it like gives people not only a platform to tell their story and hopefully inspire some people around them, but then the people listening, they might be inspired by the fact that they're so open in growth and change that then they decide to grow and change, and then butterfly effect their closest homie. Exactly. Like, man, like, so you putting yourself on a platform to be able to try to start that ripple effect of just positive growth is just, that's fucking amazing. Right. And because it sounds like everybody and their mother does podcasts these days. And so the fact that yours is like, yeah, but it's for a purpose.
Right.
It's for a meaning.
You know what's actually crazy about that? That brings me back to what we were talking about at the beginning about our blinders.
Right.
Is like, I honestly don't, it doesn't cross my mind that other motherfuckers have podcasts. Like I listen to podcasts that I enjoy, you know, but I'm never like looking at people who are kind of doing what I'm doing, like thinking like, oh, they're already doing that. I can't do that. Like what I'm literally doing what I believe in. Right. I'm like, oh, I know cool people. I know a fuckload of cool people.
Right.
And somehow like those cool people allow me to meet new cool people. Right. And I could just talk to them and we could have cool people conversation. It's just, but I dude, it's, I always talk about like the Microsoft versus Apple. Like Microsoft's, they're looking at like, how do we beat Apple? Like what's Apple doing? We got to make sure we one up them. I think we should, cause I have to pee too.
Okay.
And I'm sweating a little bit. You want to you want to send off the folks?
So how deep are we?
We're pretty deep. It's been deep.
Let's take a gander. That's always my fear. Is that
we're around 2 hours?
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, we could. I mean, you should finish your Microsoft Apple thing then.
Yeah, and then we'll both pee. So this will be the last story. Microsoft is always looking at like what's Apple doing? Like what are they doing? We got to hop on that. But like Apple is saying, what does humanity need? What are we doing? Like they're focusing on themselves, not the competition, you know? And that's that really like Max was talking about how I had said before, focus on that 20% that's positive, not the 80% that's negative, if that's the case.
Right.
And I think that it's not, and it ain't about it's not about blocking out the haters. It's literally about just like, no, you don't even think about it. You just focus on improving your own life and focus on your own lane and creating what you think you need to create. And that's all you need to do.
And that is the war path that I have been on. So it always reminds me of Wolf of Wall Street. We gotta memorize that so we can like do it properly.
We send them out. We'll just do the whole song.
Right.
All right. Ryan Reed, you are a wonderful man. You've been a wonderful guest. We've got plenty of more crossing of paths in life.
Forever, hopefully.
I fucking agree.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to send off the listeners of the Junkyard Love podcast off with today?
Thank you for hearing out all of that. That is like, you know, I know I've said this a few times, but like I really don't like put enough personal stuff onto social media for them to really know me. You know what I mean? They know what I'm doing. They know what I'm up to because of I'll post the moves, what's next, show that they know, so they know what I'm doing.
Play the game,
but they don't know me. And this is probably the most me thing I've done that is going to be public.
Excellent.
In a long time. So just like, I hope the listeners stuck it out this far. I hope they got to know me as me a little bit. Yeah. And, you know, I hope they're able to accept me with an open minds. And then therefore, I hope it inspires them to be able to feel like they can grow as well and that they could become a better version of who they were. And then, you know, just work on that undefeated mindset. Like work on the fact that like the only shit that's going to bring you down is the shit that you let bring you down.
Yeah.
And I know that just sounds so dumb. Like, oh yeah, it sounds good on paper. But look at the adversity that I've, you know, had to handle thus far.
Right.
And maintaining my positivity through that. And like always feeling like, you know, all right, if I just take another step, if I just push it a little harder, like, you know, even from the dark times to the sick times to this and that, it's like, if I keep pushing, keep growing and have that faith that greatness will come from that, then it'll take a long time and you'll be exhausted. But if you chase greatness long enough, you will wrestle that bitch in and it'll all be worth it.
Yes, I believe it so much. Ryan Reed, founder of HAFLife. Tell them where to find you.
So by this point in time, because it'll be March, you could find everything on HAFLifeENT.com. That is HAF. There's no L in F because there's no L in F. There's no L in half because it is an acronym. So it's HAFLife RYANENT.com, or you can find me online on Instagram at I am Ryan Reed. I am Ryan Reed. Facebook, Ryan Reed. YouTube, Ryan Reed. Pretty much just all things Ryan Reed. And then Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, all that good stuff. I'm the first one that pops up when you put in Ryan Reed. So wherever you need to find me, if you put in either Ryan Reed or I am Ryan Reed, I will pop up. But also, if you haven't seen the This Is For music video, the song that I just performed here in spoken word version, if you haven't stripped down and raw, listen to This Is For on either your streaming service or watch the video that's online or on my Facebook. So with that being said, or on YouTube or Facebook. So with that being said, thank you so much. I am Ryan Reed with HAFLife Entertainment here on the Junkyard Love podcast with the amazing Jake Rhines.
I love you, brother.
I love you, man. So glad to have you in my life.
Thanks so much for this, man.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a good rest of your day, listeners. Please drink some fucking water. Come on.